All right, welcome one and all to the auditory counterattack. Welcome to the RazörForce Offensive. I am your intrepid host, Razorfist, alongside the 12-gauge messiah, the tactical hobo. Sir, this is the first time we're using StreamYards. How do you like it so far?
It's nice. It's real easy to set up and everything.
Yeah, audio on your end sounds a lot better, too.
Oh, does it? And I see you got a new intro, too, which is pretty nice.
Indeed. No. That's the exact same intro.
Oh, is it? Okay. I guess I usually
is.
am not listening to it while it's going on. Because
Exactly. You normally do not get to hear it. But folks, we're back. We're live and in public. And it is decision day. We're going to keep this stream reasonably short. Might have Taran Gell showing up a little bit later. I think he's actually down voting or maybe getting back from there. I have some funny stories about voting, by the way. Did you vote in person or did you do, mail in or early or whatever?
I voted in person. Just got back about an hour ago, actually.
Okay. How was that like for you where you are?
It was actually a little bit longer than I expected because I'm kind of in a rural area. Actually, the polling place was at some fire station in the middle of like nowhere.
Wow.
Some like county road. First time voting at that location, but there was like a decent number of people for the location.
I have to say, yeah, turnout where I was bonkers. It was way bigger than 2022 and 2020. And it was the exact same polling location as in the previous two elections. So I don't know exactly what that means, nor do I know what it means that I was accosted by a hooker in the parking lot.
Just an average day in Phoenix, right?
Just another day in the Californicated version of Phoenix. Welcome, RazörForce. If you would like to, join in on the discussion, whatever, of course, you can shoot us a super chat, whatever. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube, and we are actually live on Rumble here today, ladies and gents. So, Hobo, you and I didn't get to talk really about this election up until this point. How have you been feeling it's been, like, what direction have you felt it's been arcing toward? Where do you think it's leaning? I've predicted since the beginning, like pre-primary, that Trump was going to pull a Grover Cleveland. He was going to do this. How have you felt about it?
Yeah, definitely. Things looked like they were going well for Trump, I think. But after 2020, man, I am like ultra cautious about everything.
Yeah, everyone is.
Right?
Everyone is. I have said, there's a giant caveat, and there has to be that, in a legit election, I think Trump runs away with it, near landslide style. But, I think we'll know if there are shenanigans tonight. I think we'll definitely have an indication if there are. There's a number of reasons why there wouldn't be. As I've said many, many times, you have to have a pool of available votes in order to fill them out, right? And which means you have to have a bit of a registration advantage like the Democrats had in 2020 and 2022. They do not have that this time around. In every single battleground state, Republicans are absolutely curb checking Democratic registrations. That means you run out of available votes. I was up on Styx's stream about an hour and a half ago or so, and I said much the same. But, you can't just pluck these votes from thin air, even if they're being cast on behalf of dead people. But in the overall, how do you feel it's all going? And how you and I are in Arizona, sir. How you feeling about Kari Lake?
I think it looks like it's going well on both counts. I think
I actually just texted her a little while ago.
Oh, really? I haven't been looking at the governor one too much yet, but so far it's looking good for Trump. But this is very early stages, of course. They're going to try and drag this crap out all night, of course, or all month if they can. So
yeah, absolutely. Exit polls too, whatever that means, right? And in previous elections, exit polls have been an absolute blatant lie. But in this particular election, like in Florida, I remember Rich Barris was paying really, really close attention to exit polls. About an hour ago, I was watching him, and it was looking bowling shoe ugly for Kamala, which we should say in Florida, the GOP had a goal of having a lead of 1.2 million votes. That's what they wanted to hit. They hit that this afternoon, bro.
Wow.
Before the sun was even down. Now, who knows where that? I haven't seen a live update in a while of what that was. Let's actually, speaking of which, let's get a live election map if you want to take a look here.
Yeah,
Hobo.
I already got 270 to win up.
Same here. Same here. I think you can share your screen too if you want to at any point, but there we go. Oops. Nope. Wrong one. Sorry. Wrong one. That is the wrong one. Let me, yeah. Sorry. I had 2 tabs open and that was the predictive model.
Yeah, this StreamYard works good though, because when we would previously stream, I couldn't see what's going on your screen or anything like that. So this is awesome.
Okay, here's what's been called so far. What do you think of this, Hobo? What do you think of this? Wyoming, no-brainer. South Dakota, no-brainer. North Dakota can go either way a lot of times. So that going red. Nebraska, a lot of people were predicting that Kamala was going to take Nebraska. Even some pundits on the right. And it predictably goes red, although Nebraska has a funky situation where they have 2 different electoral districts. And the second one hasn't come in yet. That's the bluer one, by the way. Kansas and Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Alabama, I think, were early calls. Georgia is leaning Trump. It hasn't been called yet, but it is leaning Trump. Trump currently at 194 electoral votes. Take a look at the blue states. What do you think of these? Looks like Virginia goes blue, but barely. New York, of course, that's no surprise. Vermont, New Hampshire, which Trump was surprisingly close in. I'm actually curious. Can you click on these and see how close it was?
Let's see.
Okay, there we go. The live results, and this is with how many precincts reporting? Oh, 39% of precincts. Looks like 53.8 for Kamala on that. I don't know if you guys could see that there. But yeah, and then Mississippi and Alabama. Florida, no surprise. Dude, did you see the freaking laughable prediction this morning of Kamala up by 3 in Florida?
I did not, but that seems very unlikely.
Clown shoe. Who thought that was even viable? Like, what corner of bizarro world are you inhabiting?
They're hoping if they say that it's so, then it will become so.
You know, I honestly, you wonder at a certain point, is it meant to just depress the same-day election vote for Republicans? It's the only thing that makes any kind of sense. It's just pure uncut copium, bro. Welcome everybody who's joining us. By the way, we got like 5,700 and climbing joining us in just 15 minutes. So if you ever wanted to tell the largest number of people in your life to go screw themselves at the same time, now is the time, Tactical Hobo.
Screw everyone.
Screw your freedom.
Screw your freedoms.
Can you we do have starred. Do you know how to look at super chats? You can actually read them if you want, Hobo. It would definitely help out on the stream. It's under the starred tab if you can see it. I don't know if you can or if that's just me.
Oh, yes, I can see that. Yeah.
Cool. If you want to read out some of these, it would help the stream go more smoothly.
Yeah. Work through. This is Sierra.
By the way, Bono promised to drive off a bridge if Trump wins.
Did he really?
Yes. So, folks, if you're still pissed about U2 sneaking their entire album onto your iTunes discography without asking, I'm just saying.
Is he going to live stream it, though? That's the question.
We can hope, right? While shouting free Palestine, maybe? Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Decision Desk is wrong. VA hasn't been called yet. Interesting. So we just looked at Virginia. It's very, very close from what I understand. Speaking of which, I'm probably going to double check that and see exactly how close it is. Oh my, very close. Bro, do you want to guess how close it is?
Within 1,000?
0.1%.
Which site are you using again here? Because
I am on 270 to win. I'm on 270 to win. Kamala up by 49.2. Donald Trump down 49.1. Crazy, dude. Crazy. And a big chunk of the state has not been counted yet. It looks like 57% of precincts are reporting. So they called that race with 0.1%? What are they, Fox News?
So the thing I'm seeing, I don't know if this is correct or not, but like it looks on mine, it looks like New Hampshire is going red now. Do you see
Well,
that?
I mean, like I said, it was at like 40%. Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll tighten. I think that'll definitely tighten. Any predictions on states that are going to like surprise here today? I think a lot of people expected Arizona to go purple blue, right? But they've been trekking pretty consistently to a plus 12 Republican advantage all election. So I think that might surprise some people depending on how that goes. But that depends on whether or not we get an election night or have, 6 election months.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be anything too surprising. It's going to come down to the usual suspects, right? Just like in the last couple. So yeah, it's going to be the same ones that are held up probably for weeks.
Hey guys, guess who's joining us? Taran Gell.
Hello, suckers.
Did you just get back from voting?
I just got back from voting, sir.
Okay, we got to hear your story, bro, because I got accosted by a hooker in the parking lot.
I don't think I can beat that. I just walked oddly through it, a parking lot, got lost a little bit, and then walked up to some old people and voted, and that was about it. It went pretty smoothly, actually.
Taking a lay of the room. When I walked in, because all I did was verify that my early ballot had been counted, which it had, by the way. I took a lay of the land, just without really considering the room or really dissecting it. Looked like a lot of women. What, how did it feel to you? Were there a lot of people? Number one,
just a few. I would say about a dozen or so coming in and out. I noticed families, a lot of families.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Women with babies. I think men coming off of work. I think that's what
babies is a good sign, huh? For the abortion measure here in Arizona.
Oh yeah, dude, there were so many measures on there. I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
And 2 of the Arizona State Supreme Court justices are up for confirmation or whatever. The woman, by the way, keep her. She's fantastic. She's like a right to life lady. The other douchebag, drop him. But yeah, so you want to take a look at the results, bro? Let's see. I don't think
Arizona's not reporting yet.
Yeah, because the polls just closed. We're going to go ahead and show this if we can. Yes. All right. So there you go. What's your immediate reaction, Taran? Trump's at 210, folks.
I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I mean, California. Any thoughts on popular vote from either of you guys? Because I think it would be insane to predict before California comes in because that's the biggest state.
Yeah.
But gut feeling.
If I had to put my money on it, I mean, Kamala can't even fill a high school gym with her followers, and she has to bust them in.
Well, that depends on what she's offering. That depends. You know what I mean? Because actually, let me show you a little something.
Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
We are, yeah. So depends on what she's offering. But anyways,
that's one way to put it.
Yes, exactly. So gut feeling on that?
Personally, Trump's filling stadiums. Kamala can't fill a high school gym. I mean, and everyone knows it. Everyone's been through 4 years of Biden and Harris.
Yes.
I say Trump runs away with it. I think he wins popular.
Interesting. I think it's within shooting distance, but man, I'm leery of making a prediction on that. I've been predicting that he would win the Electoral College since the very beginning, but man, I wonder with California and their funky election laws if they can just pluck enough dead people out of thin air. I'm really curious, but yeah, either way, you'd be crazy. It's a fait accompli to predict without seeing where California is going to go. Personally, hey, Hobo or Taran, if you want to look at the starred tab here and start reading some super chats, I would much appreciate it. Or I can, it doesn't matter.
This is my second time using this. Where's that?
StreamYard. It's under the starred tab, right where the comments are.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Right, very convenient.
I didn't realize. Oh, this place is pretty nice. Yeah,
right, isn't it?
Did you read Louis Bay?
I haven't read any of them, so go to town.
There's Louis Bay or Liu Bei, that's Chinese, with the 50. The shadow knows who will win this election.
Godspeed. I should break out the shadow hat.
And Commander Wolf with the 10. Illinois was an early call. I voted for our God Emperor Trump. God effing speed Razor. And it fucking disappeared. All right, I take it back.
I don't know about early call. She's ahead by almost 20 points. So I don't know if that's an early call necessarily. But keep in mind, a lot of that is just Chicago. And 50% reporting, though.
I'm going to go ahead and switch to the actual YouTube and see, because that took away the thing.
Oh, yeah, and we're also live on Rumble if you want to take a look there. 6,300 of you fine members of the Razor Force right now. Godspeed to each and every one of yous.
Will G, I went by my voting place after work, and the dude I was standing behind reeked of weed.
Yeah.
My money's on Kanye running away in a landslide.
It depends on if he's isolated that crucial pornographer demographic or catboy demographic.
The Diddy crowd.
Yes. Handing out baby oil in the parking lot. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Sierra 119. Oh, by the way, you can remove the star after you read it so that it's not on the list anymore, too. Very convenient.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very convenient.
Cesario, Hawaii is going to remain blue, but a Republican friend there says many outside of the capital are red and are armed, mostly to hunt. He wouldn't be surprised if the state goes half and half in this race.
Yeah. I can absolutely see that. Pennsylvania, of course. What do you think of the states to watch? I think the big one to pay attention to is Georgia. If the dominoes are going to fall, that'll be the first. And I think that's crucial. If that goes blue, it could be a bad night for Trump. Who knows? But that's always been the first domino in my mind that's going to fall on some level.
Yeah, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Those are probably like the big three, I would think.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, too.
Absolutely.
Sideburns says, thank you for the 30, by the way. He just says, fight, fight, fight.
Yep. Godspeed, PJW. He says, Razor, what's up, man? What's up? Thank you for joining us and joining the rest of the Razor Force here on this special edition. This is the return of the Razor Force Offensive.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, sir. Gosh, we got a random 50 here from Carrot Coon. Razor, please add Kirsch's the VTuber to your stream for the love of God. I need all of you in the Discord stream so that you don't kill your bandwidth. What do you got, like a hamster wheel internet or what's going on there? But thank you for joining us all the same, whether it's by hamster wheel or carrier pigeon. We much appreciate it.
We prefer smoke signals out here.
Indeed.
From DSL land out here.
We use telegraph, actually. We blink in Morse code like John McCain in the detention camp.
It would certainly be more reliable than CenturyLink.
Yes. Only we can raise our hands above our head. But anyway, so continue. Enough about the John McCain jokes.
Austin, I predict New Jersey or Michigan goes red. Everything turns out like we expected. Trump wins as a result.
Yeah, I could see that. He's definitely off to a good start thus far. Take another look at the map real quick. Not much change because, most of the polls on the West Coast just barely changed, or just barely closed, rather. But Florida, which is, let's be honest, it's not even a battleground state anymore. Ohio, a little curious. Ohio, with 60% reporting, an absolute 10-point decimation by Donald Trump. Just destroyed her. 55% to 44.1 with 60% reporting in Ohio. Remember when Ohio and Florida were like the bellwethers? Funny, you tighten up your election laws and suddenly your state goes really red. Isn't that weird? Isn't that a coinky of a ding-dong dink?
That's strange how that just happens.
Yeah, it's a weird
Very
one.
interesting.
How do you guys feel, regardless of the result, the respective campaigns conducted themselves? Like I feel like regardless of how it ends up, Trump conducted his campaign in 2024 infinitely better
Oh
than
yeah.
2020. I think he was on top of it. He was racking up more kill shots than SEAL Team 6. He was, the dump truck and the McDonald's thing, all of that stuff. And what did Kamala have? Celebrity endorsements? J-Lo telling us to trust her judgment about men after she dated P. Diddy for a decade? Like, that's what Kamala's got. Celebrity endorsements in 2024, long after celebrities have stopped mattering. It just, Trump correctly identified our antipathy with arbitrary taxes, right? With the no taxes on tips.
Right.
Everyone, no, filing taxes is like a do-it-yourself colonoscopy. And he isolated that, but it's just one of many, many wins. He's been on top of the optics. I think from day one, he's run a much better campaign, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, definitely. It was similar to when he was running against Biden. I mean, he's way more active, even though he's 18 years older than Kamala. This guy is like nonstop. He's just
did you see Danica Patrick's tweet? She was on Trump Force One. Took a picture with Trump, and she's like, "We ended the last rally at 3:30 in the morning.
Damn.
We got up for brunch at 10, and immediately jumped on the campaign trail again. And Trump was there the whole time doing it. Right along.
Yeah, I saw him going to some rally like at midnight, and I was like, "Oh, that must be for tomorrow." Nope, it was that night.
Nope. The man gets 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. He is no wonder Jim Steranko loves him, because that's Jim Steranko's schedule and has been his schedule since the 60s. For those who don't know, Jim Steranko, a legendary comic book artist, creator of Nick Fury, right? Well, he's known for doing Nick Fury, rather. And sleeps 4 hours a night, grows his own vegetables and eats them. Like he grows his own food. He refuses to have anything processed. He runs up and down a mountain every single day. Like, this guy's inhuman, and he's in his 80s now. Just absolutely nuts. Steranko, legend, and a Trump supporter. Very much a Trump supporter. You should give him a follow on social media, especially if you love comics and hate what they've turned into.
In regards to Trump on the trail, credit where credit's due. His son Barron has really helped with him to get in touch with the younger crowd, the Zoomers, the millennials.
Yeah.
Like Trump's appearance, this all really started to ramp up with Trump's appearance on Aiden Rosh's channel. That kicked off a lot of great choices by him in his campaign.
Did you watch Hobo? Did you watch like his appearance on Rogan or Jocko or any of that stuff?
Oh gosh, there was one podcast he was on, but I can't remember what it was. It was pretty good. I was meaning to watch the Rogan one, but I just didn't get to it because I actually just got back into town. I was over in Oklahoma, and
did you see how crazy freaking Japan is for Trump in this election?
Are they?
It's nuts. They get these crazy anime graphics on their news channels, and freaking gosh, the next time Trump walks out, we're gonna have to. That should be, but they are, dude. You gotta. I actually retweeted just a minute ago about it. It's crazy. They're covering this thing like breathlessly. I feel like this is almost the world's election now, which
everyone's watching
a little bit. It was kind of some piece of Euro trash was like, we need to stop paying attention to America's elections. No one in Europe should know what Maricopa County is. Right? I can't disagree, but the only reason you know what Maricopa County is because they've fortified several elections in a row. That's why you know what Maricopa County is.
Well, this is the World War III election. I mean, everyone should be interested in it, right?
It does concern everyone.
It does. It does. But to get back to the subject of Trump's campaign this year, I feel like that was one of the lamentable aspects of the fountains of fortification we waded through in 2020. We were all so distracted by the Hamburglar pinching the presidency that we were never able to accurately critique what, in my mind, were the many missteps made by Trump's campaign prior to that point. I still think he actually won that election. But it's nevertheless like we're paying so much attention to the fact that it was fortified. We were never able to really talk about what was done right and what was done wrong. But clearly he learned some lessons because he's doing much, much better. And I should add, Gorka, when I was on yesterday, said it's not just Barron that's advising him on the podcast, but a member of his campaign, Alex, who's also a big part of it. Just way better campaign staff this time around, I think, is what's going on.
He's trusting the right people.
Definitely. That is the one thing. Would you guys agree? That was the one thing I wanted to see him do properly, was identify the scumbags in the woodpile and not hire them on this time. He's doing way better with that. He's talking about adding Ron Paul to his cabinet.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Crying out loud. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And the thing is, it's like, since he wasn't a part of the political world for most of his life, he didn't necessarily know all the ins and outs of it, right? But now, of course, after all this crap he's gone through, he is way more knowledgeable about who to trust and not to trust.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about where the polls ended up near, prior to this election day? Have you guys been paying any attention at all?
I've only known that Trump's been really highly supported with the early voting.
Right.
That's one thing we're getting right this time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, long and short of it is Kamala's pretty much right where Biden was right before they swapped him out. Right? Like it appears they swapped out Joe for the hoe. Also, they could, slip back into the self-same sagging poll numbers Biden had before they shuffled him off to the convalescent home at Martha's Vineyard. And you wonder if they should have just kept him on it, as demented as he was. People were saying Biden couldn't win. I say, hey, there's a first time for everything. But anyways. Read some super chats, sir.
Sure. We have an election update.
Is it over? Sorry, Basilisk. Is it over?
We just got an election update from Gob Gonson. Jeb just took American Samoa.
Yes. And Kamala has officially been called in Ukraine. She has taken Ukraine. Fantastic. And that's just in the bedroom. But
we have viewer newest with the 100. Thank you so much. Razor, the question must be asked at this point.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to bring California to heel? Let the people's voices be truly heard this time, and God effing speed.
What goes a long way is enforcing your immigration laws and enforcing your election laws. If California had the same election laws as Ohio and Florida, it would probably still be blue, but it would be a competitive blue. You could get a Republican in there without them being an Arnold Schwarzenegger type. You could absolutely get that. Because look, I mean, it happens in red states, right? Arizona can elect Democrats. I've been clear on this. Even though we are red, we can elect Democrats. The trick is they have to pretend to be Republicans, right? Mark Kelly had to pretend to be a Republican. Kyrsten Sinema had to pretend to be a Republican. Katie Hobbs didn't even pretend to be running for election, but that's a bit of an outlier. But yeah, you kind of have to pretend to be one thing or another. We could get California, if we had the proper election laws, to a place where, yeah, if they were moderate Republican guy, they could probably get elected. And you know what? You have to make progress somehow, right? Sometimes it has to be little by little. I'll tell you what, state electoral college would balance those scales quite a bit.
I said this to you privately, but the moment that Trump is elected, even if he can't do anything with it, because he's the president, he has to start putting the message out there. The states need a state level electoral college. He just absolutely. I made that video, 2-3 years ago? Yeah. And I stand by every word. The problems that the Electoral College was instituted to redress are now a bigger issue on a state level than they were nationally, right? LA has the same population that the entire country did in the 1790s. That's a problem. If a senator wants to run for Senate in California and only has to campaign in one city, how is the state being represented? How can you pretend that they're being represented? If they only have to go to one city the whole time and they can still get elected, that's a problem. The Electoral College was instituted to redress that kind of issue.
Go ahead and read some chats. My God, there's a lot of people here. Over 7,000. Godspeed to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining in the RazörForce Offensive. I'm joined by Tactical Hobo and Taran Gell. Taran Gell, my video editor, and Tactical Hobo, my longtime broadcasting partner here on the Offensive.
Question tree. Not only do you need to show photo ID here in Florida, but you also need to signature match. Florida is still able to report the state's results quickly. Why can't other states achieve this?
Simple. The preponderance of mail-in ballots, I think, is a big thing, and that's another thing we're going to have to reckon with. How do you guys feel? Do you think mail-in ballots should be done away with or just altered? Should there be more restrictions on them? Like, I feel like if mail-in ballots worked in practice how they're supposed to work in theory, like for a long time, Arizona election officials bragged they could have all the mail-in ballots counted on election morning. If that were the case, I think I'd be fine with them. Because then whatever the election day total is, that's the result that stands. You have a result on election night. But of course, ever since 2018, right around the time Democrats became competitive in this state, it hasn't worked that way. They haven't had anywhere near all of the mail-in ballots counted on election day morning, and suddenly Democrats are competitive. So if we were able to get it to that point, I feel like I'd be okay with mail-in ballots, generally speaking. But as it stands, I say, unless you're in military or you literally have a doctor's note for why you can't get down to the polling place, should you really be voting in an election if you're a complete shut-in? Do you have a stake in who wins an election if you never leave your house? Should you be telling society how they can live if you're not a part of it? I'm not so sure, but we've talked about this before on the Offensive. Taran, go and rock and roll. My God, we got a long list here.
Yes, we do. Greg Hinson, thank you for the 20. Trump is to Kamala what Blackie Lawless is to D. Snyder. God effing speed.
True story. Blackie Lawless of WASP. You know, that famous story of D. Snyder confronting Tipper Gore. That was originally supposed to be Blackie Lawless. He canceled. He was supposed to be the guy doing that. And God, there's an alternate reality where Blackie Lawless gets the stare down with Tipper, and it would have been epic. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine.
Magnus the Red. Hey, Razor, my wife is a libertarian leftist, and she's terrified for if Trump wins. What would you recommend I say to her?
This is your wife?
One of the comments under that is, I want a divorce.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I mean, I would ask her to consider and just think back to how often she's been lied to. I would revert back to, you remember my video after the 2016 election? I mean, consider all the proven lies the media has laid before you and tried to pass off as fact. Consider that the demoniac image of Donald Trump might just be one of those lies. But go back and watch that. I did an out of character segment at the end of that video that still holds up. It was a bit of an olive branch, certainly not one that was taken, nor did I suspect that it would be at the time. But that was, look, I originally did not support Trump. I don't know how you guys were, but I didn't originally support Trump in 2016 in the primaries anyways. And then I had to confront the fact that I had been deceived by the many stories about him. There had been a lot of misinformation. Stefan Molyneux made a great series of videos called The Untruth About Donald Trump. That was just, okay, here's a lie. It's debunked. Here's a lie. It's debunked. It was like hours of videos just debunking falsehoods about Donald Trump. Brilliant videos. And after those, I was like, oh, okay. I can no longer subsist in this self-deception. I wish more people were capable of any kind of self-examination and kind of moving to that. But that would be my recommendation. Maybe even recommend those videos because they are still out there.
Metalhead Madman, thank you for the 20. Info on Texas. Oh, do we have any results coming in from Texas?
Looks like Texas is red. Looks like it is. Let me actually bring that up on screen for you guys. Yep. Looks like Texas has gone red. I don't know how many precincts are reporting though. 69, dude. With 69% reporting, it looks like 55.3 to 43.6. Not only is Trump ahead, he is pretty decisively ahead. And yes, before you ask, Austin has already come in.
Nice.
This is after Austin was counted.
For those of you not in the know, Austin is incredibly blue, and it's the state capital.
It's East California, gang.
Yeah.
It's East California. Colorado goes blue. No surprise there. We are a long way from the days of Tom Tancredo.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's so disappointing to see what happened to Colorado, because I remember Tom Tancredo was probably my favorite politician.
He was amazing.
In the day.
Yeah, Tom Tancredo. It is hard to believe Colorado produced someone that based. He was at the forefront, for those who don't know, way before Trump came along, even before a lot of the, Michael Savages and stuff came along on the immigration issue. He was one of the guys who really put his foot down on illegal immigration, and they burned him at the stake for it. And, basically what happened in Colorado is they imported the population of California. Weed legalization decimated that state, and not enough people talk about the politics of pot and the fact that they changed the political composition of states. Colorado really was at the bleeding edge of all that.
And let's see here. Phoenix says, I moved to a new state a bit too late to vote, but Godspeed to everyone who voted so far. Safety's off. We kicked the clown car. Here we go.
All right. I need a clown noise on this is what I need. Jeez.
Are you gonna buy a soundboard now?
Right? Well, no, you can upload sounds and all kinds of stuff. But
Emperor Creatine. Tell Tiggy he's not allowed to nap until the election is over, or else the honkening will happen.
The honkening!
Also, I found some nice bread, but I wasn't really hungry, so I didn't need to worry about it. Oh my God.
By the way, if you do need a divorce, dude who has to explain to his wife, we have some tips for you. I know Tactical Hobo and Taran will appreciate this one.
That is how the Klingon lures a mate.
There we are.
Yes. they growl at you and hurl heavy objects.
Yes.
What does the man do? He ducks a lot.
Yes. There we are. Tactical Hobo's inimitable Worf impression. All right, folks.
Devil Lord, who will screw over their party more? Principled pro-lifers or pro-Palestine?
I made a tweet about this. The Christians who are taking a principled stand, and it's just completely vacuous. Their argument is complete nonsense. I don't know if I want to just show this or something. Let me see if I can maybe read it out. Because it's ridiculous. It's like the opposite. Putting your foot down and saying, well, this guy's not Christian enough for me. It's like, well, that's your worldly Christian standard, though, right? The church isn't a society. The church is an anti-society. So refusing to vote for a candidate because they're not like a worldly carnal reflection of what you construe to be Christian values does not make you more Christian. Like I said, it makes you more carnal because you're attaching yourself to that. It replaces the standard of the eternal, of the immortal, of the godly, and it exchanges it for the worldly and the ephemeral. In short, it binds you to the society that Jesus calls you to reject. And too few Christians don't seem to understand that. This is how you wind up with progressive churches in a strange way. And it's funny because a lot of these kind of evangelocons quirk their brow at these super progressive churches, and yet they are employing the same reasoning to refuse to vote for quote unquote imperfect candidates. The candidates are supposed to be imperfect. Jesus came back. He was begged by the Jews to overturn Roman rule. And he said, I haven't come to overturn Roman rule. I've come to save the few who can be saved in this late hour. The politics of this world are an irrelevancy. So stop imposing your worldly Christian idea onto them. But I'm going to have to do a separate rant about that at some point. It just bugs the hell out of me.
Patricio says, greetings from Argentina, Razör. Democrats? Afuera.
Godspeed.
Let's see. We got a 50 earlier. I can't seem to find it. Oh, wait, there it is. Salted God, thank you for that 50. Last one got buried, but howdy, Razor. Went to see Maiden in Philly last night, or last
Hey.
Friday. Shit was awful, but it was a gift from my lovely wife.
Was it awful? Really? I've heard the last couple of tours were okay, but I don't know. Hopo, when was the last time you saw Maiden?
I've only seen Maiden once in 08. But
Really?
actually, I just saw Priest with Sabaton in Dallas
That was
like a week ago.
That was the Somewhere Back in Time tour, right?
I believe so, yes.
That was not a bad tour, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I think the problem with some of the new tours is they're just playing the new stuff, which people don't like as much.
Rip Paul Di'Anno, by the way.
Yes.
Rest
absolutely.
in peace to the great Paul Di'Anno, an amazing singer and the man who put Maiden on the map.
Gift from my wife, who I dragged with me. Send condolences. Richard Slammer. Damn it, I didn't hear that you guys were doing anything tonight. Now I feel like shit for getting here late. I mean, Crowder and Tim are nice, but...
I thought Tim Pool was done, right?
Is Tim still on?
Yeah. I guess he saw that he still has bills to pay, so he's hanging in there. Those beanies are not going to buy themselves, folks.
The Inquest Inquisition says,
yes.
What margin and where does Trump have to build up in rural Arizona to offset Maricopa?
I'm sorry, I had a little doubled audio there for a minute. Could you repeat that?
What margin and where does Trump have to build up in rural Arizona to offset Maricopa?
Maricopa, he's ahead right now. I'm actually getting live reports from Maricopa, and he's not only got a advantage, he's got a huge advantage right now. Now, keep in mind that could change. That could change, but right now he's got quite the advantage. I'm actually looking for one of the live update feeds. There's a great Twitter account that covers it. Let me find it while you read some more, sir.
This is a world election. U.S. retardation always spills over into Europe.
Oh! How did I miss this? Sorry, before you go. From the Washington Examiner. Biden will not attend Harris's election night watch party.
Oh, yeah, I read that a while ago. Yeah, that was...
Well, it's past his bedtime. I mean, come on now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's after 4.
No surprise there.
Yeah, no
he concludes, best from a Norwegian in Poland.
Yeah, Godspeed.
Sirius Kishauer? I guess that's how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Isn't it the case that the war chest for Biden couldn't be transferred to a new candidate, so Dems were stuck with a cackling C due to campaign finance funds from the donors already in place?
She positioned herself well, and there were people who were predicting, it's going to be Gavin Newsom. They're going to swap her out. Maybe they'll go back to Biden and whatever. I have been steadfast in saying, no, she was in the catbird seat from day one. It's the only thing she's good at. She's not a great talker. She's not a thought leader. She's not a great candidate, but boy, she's great thought though. But she's great at maneuvering. That's it. Backroom deals. That's what Kamala is gifted at. That and that alone. Well, maybe one other thing.
Yeah. Somebody says it in the chat perfectly. Her career was made on positioning herself.
Yeah, something like that. In a kneeling position, in prayer, in church.
Star Colonel Dunadan, son of the West. They need to stop complaining about Trump's Christian status. God can use all sorts of people. Trump absolutely included. Yeah. Heck, I'm named after the tax collector in Christ's party.
Right. Or, I mean, gosh, the Apostle Paul, he was beheading Christians before he became the Apostle Paul.
Let's see. Tater, thank you for the 20. If Trump wins, do you think Vance rides the wave and runs in 28?
It depends on how he comports himself in a perspective, in a possible Trump administration. He has been, how impressed have you guys been with Vance? Like, I knew he was a pretty good pick. Like, he was a solid pick. He's right of Pence, maybe just slightly left of Trump on certain issues anyways, but just a great speaker, light on his feet, has no problem answering questions, understands the meme game, just a great candidate. I do think he would be a good choice, actually, if you don't go with like a Don Jr. or someone from the Trump dynasty.
Yeah. He's definitely doing good.
How do you feel about Vance, Hobo?
Yeah, I like him. Honestly, before he was nominated, I didn't know hardly anything about him, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see it happening. Maybe with somebody like Don Jr. as like the VP or Vivek or somebody, like that.
Yeah. Couple more calls, by the way. Montana, no surprise here. And Utah goes to Trump. Also no surprise. I think Tennessee has been formally called as well. Still, jury's out still on Georgia, but Trump is ahead by a commanding amount. It's 52% to 46%.
Man, Georgia. What was the hang up there again? What's going on?
Well, I mean, keep
Get a
in
recap?
mind, yeah, I mean, that was a state that had an audit before even Arizona did, but a Democrat requested it. So that was a good audit, right? That was an okay audit. That wasn't election denying, that one. Yeah, they're just kind of refusing to call it because they don't want to give Trump the momentum, I think. Plus, that would be 16 electoral votes. And you can see that total at the top of the screen here, ticking ever closer for Donald Trump, electorally speaking. 16 would be nice to add there to the end. That would definitely help here in the home stretch.
Ed Master, thank you for the 20. Greetings and hail from New York City. Saw lots of Dominican turnout for tea money in Boogie Down, Bronx, from the aunts, uncles to the abuelas or abuelatas.
The abuelas, Hispanic grandmas, right?
So not all is lost here yet. Also saw King Diamond last Wednesday. He still sings well.
Oh, dude, he sounds better than he has in years. Have you gotten a chance to see King Diamond, Hobo?
I've never seen him. No, one of the few I've never seen, I guess.
He's coming through town, and his voice is, gosh, better than ever. I was lucky enough to see him at Vakken, but
really,
that's the only time I ever got to 2002. Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the only time, and that was on the Abigail Returns. It was the Abigail 2 tour or whatever. Freaking brilliant live show.
Let's see. Jedine, thank you for the 20. I am not Christian or anti-Christian. A religious life is better than a non.
All right.
Matthew Drum, thank you for the 50 and first-time super chat. Hi from Winston-Salem, NC. Sadly, my county going for Cackles the Clown. Thanks for great live coverage.
Godspeed. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being one of the 8,000 right now, by the way, and climbing.
8,000, my God.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Necrodancer Ron Paul walks into the IRS building, juiced up and wielding a steel chair.
Right. Hulk Hogan's music hits.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, you think?
Hulk Hogan's music hits, yes. Maybe Bret the Hitman Hart.
Nick, who do you think are the best presidents in American history?
Best presidents. Ooh, how about I take it around the table first? How about I take it around the horn? Hobo, who would be your vote for best?
Best ever? I mean, obviously Calvin Coolidge is the one that conservatives like to go with all the time, right?
A good choice. He did nothing. He kept his hands off the government and was brilliant. And he was a very good speaker and writer, actually. He has some great quotes. Taran first.
I mean, I have to go with the man, the original, the GOAT, Washington. The man turned down being king.
Yeah. To me, like, he wasn't perfect in terms of policy and stuff. He made some mistakes. He sided with Hamilton over Jefferson. A huge mistake. But turning down, like handing his sword into Congress and saying, we'll be a nation of laws, not kings. That's the most inspirational thing a president has ever done in the history of this country. So I agree. I agree on that one. Deep cut. I like William Howard Taft a lot. He's kind of the pivot president. He's the guy who takes us from the progressive Republican Party of Teddy Roosevelt and kind of transitions us, albeit not in a principled way, to the more Calvin Coolidge sort of Warren Harding, smaller government Republican. He kind of hijacked the Republican Party in the way. Plus, it was based how he fired a bunch of Teddy Roosevelt's bureaucrats. He was supposed to be his puppet, right? He was just basically Teddy Roosevelt wanted to go off killing endangered animals in Africa. And he was like, okay, keep the seat warm, Taft. Your ass is big enough. And Taft, after he got in there, realized how much Teddy Roosevelt had actually messed up the government, how big and bloated the bureaucracy was getting. And he started firing people. And Teddy Roosevelt lost his mind. And that's why he ran on the Bull Moose ticket and is responsible for getting Woodrow Wilson elected. But I like Taft, in addition to the amazing mustache.
Let's see here. Deaf Monkey. Georgia trouble delay might have come from the most peaceful bomb threats in DeKalb County. Oh, yes.
We have. Hold on.
That,
we have a very significant update here. Let me see if I can get that. Trump takes the lead in Pennsylvania.
Oh, my God.
By about 1 point. About 1 point. But that's with 44% reporting. But still, that's a significant shift. We'd be remiss not to mention it. RazörForce, are you puckered? Are you puckered?
Come on, Pennsylvania.
You can do it.
My family originally from the Erie, Pennsylvania area, by the way.
James Wood, is there a chance for Virginia?
Yeah, actually, I think Styx just mentioned Virginia suddenly after they called it, after some people called it, it's kind of a premature call, is tightening. For example, right now, gosh, here's another one. Ooh, this is not looking good for Kamala. Trump has now taken the lead in Virginia, 49.5 to 48.8 with 66% reporting.
Oh, yes.
Interesting.
God, look at all that red. All that red in Virginia and all that red in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And it's criminal that it's that close. Cities are...
No, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, cities should not be ruling over states like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a term for that form of government, you know. It's they're a vassal state, essentially. Let's see here.
What's the old terms? Is it a barony? Is it a fiefdom?
Serfdom.
Serfdom.
Yeah, serfdom.
You have the lord in his fort or his castle.
The pissed ants outside of the major city toil away to help the elites in the major cities. Yeah. And the entire political class and barony or whatever you prefer are just glad handing with the population of that city, promising them the world, keeping them happy so they can stay in power. And all the people outside the city walls are the ones who are actually generating the income and such.
It's criminal.
Yeah. Oops.
Nick Rutland, remember, boys, even if we win, the price of freedom is eternal vengeance.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, vigilance.
Yes.
Freudian slip there. Sorry.
Maybe not wrong, though.
Oh. Get puckered again, folks. Get puckered again. Now tied. 49.1% apiece in Virginia. How in the hell did they call this state so early if it was going to be this close? What a joke. That's election interference. That is journalistic malfeasance right there. When a race is this close, you wait.
We haven't even got to the 3 a.m. ballot dumps yet.
I know, right? That's when
all these states can reverse themselves. There's still plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
Mercenary X, thank you for dropping by. Thank you for the 20 as well. So, how bad has the shenanigans been on your end in AZ?
Well, the polls just closed. Give it time.
Apparently in PA, they had a 10,000 votes intercepted I hadn't heard this.
Wow.
It was intercepted.
Well, I mean, dude, have you guys been hearing about all the shenanigans in the weeks leading up to the election in Pennsylvania? The people being turned away and the long lines and all that stuff?
Apparently, it was intercepted by the military. The chaining tonight is still be ready for the cornered animal to attack.
Intercepted by the military? What are we talking about here? Exactly.
Let's see.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that.
I did hear, though. Did you guys see James O'Keefe's thing this morning? He was talking about they were letting non-citizens vote, apparently, in Philadelphia. Not surprising at all.
It was somebody important, an election official or somebody on a city council or something, was out telling people, hey, even though you don't have a social security card, you can go vote. Which,
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, M Towers, thank you for the 50. Good evening, Razor. I hope all is well. What are your thoughts on a completely proportional electoral college and not a winner take all?
Completely proportional. You'd need to explain exactly what you mean by that.
And do liberals only complain about the electoral college when they know they might not win?
At 100%. Yeah, 100%. They're mad about anything that doesn't let them bribe people in major urban areas. We can all see what the structure is right now, right? You have major cities where all the people are lulled there because there's some available jobs, although they're crappy jobs. But mostly it's just there's local laws that promise those populations the world. Hey, here's free stuff that you're going to get taxed for, right? And, oh, hey, by the way, you have to vote Democrat if you want all of this free stuff. It's bribery. It's bribery. It's the literal definition of why we instituted the Electoral College in the 1790s. There was already a situation there where there were politicians who were glad-handing with voters and literally bribing them in cities like Philadelphia and in Boston and ignoring, the South, farming areas, that was a problem, even in the early days of the American Republic. That is now a bigger problem on a state level, as I said earlier. But yeah, go watch my video, State Electoral College Now. I stand by every word of that rant.
Rapscullion, hail from PA. Every single poll worker except one and a watcher called out at my polling location. I wonder if the other workers were trying to get the location shut down. Richard Slammer. Taran, gotta ask whose your icon looks familiar. It's Killy from Blame.
Yeah, Blame, bro.
Let's see what that's. Damn it!
Where are you reading from? YouTube or the Starred?
YouTube, because when I can hold them on YouTube on this StreamYard, they disappear.
I'm going to read a few that are starred here on StreamYard.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shadow Fox. If he pulls this out, Trump will accomplish something done by only one other president in history, legitimately winning 3 elections in a row. Right? Godspeed. Thank you for joining us. Clark Gable's flagging erection. Do you think if Trump wins, he'll force Zelensky to end the war? Same with the genocide in Gaza. I don't think those things happen if Trump was president. I think they were emboldened by how weak Biden was and the fact that Biden's handlers were in office. But Trump was great at shows of strength that weren't terribly high fatality, but scared the bejesus out of our enemies. He was fantastic at those, right? The Soleimani thing and bombing the Syrian airfield where only a bunch of Russian mercenaries died who weren't even supposed to be there. I mean, that put Putin back in a cupboard for months. That's really the only reason Ukraine didn't happen under Trump. So, yeah, I would tend to predict that's likely to happen. There we go. Trent Tuttle. If Trump wins, which do you think will be funnier to imagine? Tim Walz bawling like a little girl or Movie Bob squealing like a fat pig? So any day ending in Y then. Apologies to fat pigs anywhere and Godspeed. He's a member of the master race, Trent. You need to stop being so judgmental. You stole his perfect utopian future, his utopian Star Trek future.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Star Trek future where he's a member of the Dominion, maybe.
Now, do I click on these and they appear on screen, or will clicking make them go away?
You can click on them and they'll appear on screen. You can do the same thing with normal chats, with normal comments.
Oh, excellent. Todd Howard with a gun. Thank you for the 50.
Oh, shoot, it didn't pop up. Maybe I need to give you like admin privileges or.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do have the list here. I
Okay.
couldn't find it before. Todd Howard with a gun. Thank you for the 50. If PA flips, thank the Amish.
Right on.
Let me go back up to the top here. Scully Bones. Has anyone checked on Jim Cornette? If not, don't.
Yes, please don't. Please don't. Do not resuscitate. Big old DNR order on Jim Cornette.
HD Arcade. Any regret about condemning DeSantis, given how Florida performed?
No, Florida was going to go that way regardless. I do think DeSantis had a part of it, but you know what? One of the narratives, actually, I would go the complete opposite way. There were people who wanted, look how competitive this is right now. There were people who wanted DeSantis to be the guy. You think Pennsylvania even would be close if DeSantis was the guy? Did you see some of the polls for DeSantis in Pennsylvania? You're getting this kind of narrative that like DeSantis would have had an easier time of it, but I think it's the exact opposite. There are states where Ron DeSantis wouldn't have been competitive in the slightest. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Let's do the Elseworlds thing here. How is this election shaking out if DeSantis is the guy instead of Trump?
You know what? No, I don't see DeSantis winning. I think he cedes too much ground.
Well, I think he could win. I think he could get an electoral win, but do you think like the popular vote is even being talked about?
No.
If it's DeSantis? I don't think so. I don't know about what about you, Hobo?
You know, I think he doesn't have the charisma of Trump, but he doesn't have the baggage either. So it's versus like Kamala, it would be really interesting to see the two of them go head to head for sure.
Yeah. Godspeed, Cameron. Thank you for watching the interview I did with Sebastian Gorka on American First yesterday.
Let's see. Stephen J. Razor, thank you for being a shining beacon against the black pillars and leftoids. You have helped keep the fires of freedom alive through these dark times. It's time to rise, Trump 2024.
Godspeed.
Tyrannus, with the ongoing election insanity, I'll ask the question on everyone's mind. Did you see the trailer for Cronus by Bloober Team? If so, what are your thoughts?
I didn't even hear about it. What about you?
I saw it. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just an announcement trailer, and it looks like a weird horror thing. I mean, I'll have to see more before I give my judgment. These aren't the days where I can just look at a cinematic trailer and go, "Ooh, I want that." I need actual gameplay these days.
Yep. Electoral side tightening a little bit, although some of these are premature calls. Virginia has been called, but only by one news agency. I don't know why this particular website is counting that one call as Virginia being called, but I'm just going to say it here on this stream. Virginia has not been called. Not really. But let's take another look at the election map here. Virginia is at 70, and actually Trump has pulled back ahead, 49.3 to 49. So I don't know how you could call that race, especially with Richmond already in, right? Like, I don't understand. But regardless, yeah, so that's what we're looking at right now. Florida, solid win. Alabama, solid win. Man, Alabama, I think, was the first one called, right? Or was it Indiana? Do you guys know?
I think it was Indiana, maybe. But you can see like what they're doing here. They're holding back on all the real important swing states, right? In case they need to flip them or something. Yeah. So all the stuff right here, most of it's not a surprise, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, most of these were solid, except Texas going so hard Trump. That's crazy. Let me I would show you guys this tab. Look at this. Look at what Trump did in Texas.
I would love to see that even broken down even further and just take a look at Austin just to see if it went totally blue or did some people come back as red.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's. I feel like in Texas it was a lot more overwhelming than than these percentages are showing.
Well, 56 to 42 is pretty damn overwhelming, bro. That is crazy. But yeah, that's our election map right now. All right. Go ahead and rock and roll with these super chats. Holy crap. My goodness. 8,100 members of the Razor Force here on the election night offensive. I'm joined by Tactical Hobo, my broadcasting partner on the offensive. And of course, Taran Gell, the editor and comic foil of the Razor Force. As it stands, folks, the electoral map looks like, even with the false Virginia call, 226 to 108 on the electoral map. So Trump is almost to where he needs to be in order to take the electoral college.
Brian Henderson. Let's make Bono's threat a reality. Shout out also on a couple of posts from Vox Day.
Right on.
Naturally stupid generated.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Trump will take VA? It's close.
It's very, very close. If it's this close, this late in the game, I don't know. It kind of depends on your election day turnout for Democrats. I would want to see, and I admit I haven't paid close enough attention to the pre-registration information in VA. How much of a registration advantage did Republicans have? Because that'll tell you whether Democrats are about to run out of voters or not. That I'm curious about. If anyone in the chat knows what the over-under is on the registration information for VA, was it a Republican advantage or a Democratic one? And how much did Republicans gain by? Because that's one state I admit I did not pay close enough attention to.
So Virginia actually is now showing over 95% reporting.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks like it could be difficult for Trump to close the gap, but who the heck knows?
Yeah.
Still.
Let's see.
Yeah, over 95%, and he's down by a little less than 1%.
Chewy Fernandez says Godspeed, and I think VA will go to
that.
Trump.
By the way, that explains a lot. You know what? Do you know what Kamala's last formal campaign stop was? It wasn't Virginia. It was Washington, D.C. Why is that significant? Because Richmond is kind of just a suburb of Washington, D.C. now, right? It's like she was trying to reach Virginia voters, blue Virginia voters, by having a speech in Washington, D.C. That actually, that's kind of canny. I gotta admit it. Whoever the campaign staffer was that came up with that, I thought that was retarded at the time, but that's actually pretty shrewd.
Rubber legs. Don't let Peanuts' death be in vain, brethren.
Yeah.
Sierra also saw you on Gorka and Styx's stream. Now that it's later in the night, how confident are you now?
Trump pretty close on electoral votes. I stand by my prediction. We'll see. We will know tonight if we're going to have another 2022, 2020, 2018 shenanigans evening where, we'll have to pause the vote. Oh, it's got 5 a.m. ballot done. We'll know tonight. We'll know tonight.
Prince Revolver, thank you for the 20. Baby Terminators ain't helping KH tonight. Baby Terminator? Oh. I had to think about that.
Baby Terminator, yes.
Liquid Mike, it just dawned on me that I was watching Razor stream during the 2020 election.
Uh-huh.
Also, but this will turn out better this time.
You and I did predict what happened in 2020, which was funny. You remember that sleeping dog stream we did where you were like, they're gonna try and steal it, but they're gonna go so over the top that everyone will know?
Did I actually see? I have no.
You said that, not me. That was your prediction. And then on election night, my sign off, if you remember, Tactical Hobo, was if there's fuckery afoot, it'll happen in the next 2 hours. And bam. Like right on the button.
Oh man, I remember I went to bed like happy. I woke up being like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yep. I mean, there were insurmountable differentials in most of the swing states. I mean, there were real election analysts saying, "Oh, this is done and dusted. Trump's got this." there's not enough votes for them to make it up. But then they just kept finding them, right? So don't rest on your hands, folks. I hope you all went and voted. I hope you got your mail-in ballots in. I hope you checked the status of your ballots, because I'd hate for you guys to sit out and then wonder if there was something more you could have done.
So remember what they said? I think they said it in 2020 and maybe 2016 even. They're like, so it's going to look good for Trump initially. There's going to be a red mirage that's just going to vanish. So look at all these states that can still vanish here, that they haven't called.
Oh,
all of the important swing states.
A state that just vanished for Kamala. Trump takes Iowa. Remember that nonsense, that ridiculous poll +3 for Kamala a week ago? What was that, Seltzer? That poll, that ridiculous. That was totally just to depress the Republican vote. That's all that was. That's all that was.
I'm starting to think that's the only reason any of these polls exist.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, you remember 2016? On election day, 97% or 96% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to win. What the hell was that?
Yep, no kidding. There's some talk that Georgia has been called. It's not showing it on this map, but if it has been called, then it too is a Trump victory. And my prediction, if you watched the last Razor Fist Arcade stream when we were streaming Dragon Age Veilguard, first off, my condolences. Second off, what did I say on that stream? If the dominoes fall, the first one will be Georgia. So there is talk that it's been called, and if it has, we're at 88% reporting here. Trump is ahead by 2, almost 3 points.
Let's see. Veto. Any advice on motorcycles for beginners?
Advice on? Oh gosh. I would not go Harley, although I like Harleys. I like Harleys a lot, but they're not really a beginner motorcycle. They cost too much. They're priced for boomers. I hear they're getting a little better lately, but the big problem is just they've priced themselves out of the market. I recommend something metric, maybe a Japanese bike like a Honda or a Yamaha, something like that. Once you get a little more cash and you're a little more comfortable with your motorcycle, I'm a big advocate of British motorcycles. So I love Triumph. Those are great.
Intrinsic Dark. Heard that Trump's legal is striking down every attempt.
And it is formally called, by the way, guys. 242 electoral votes for Trump because Georgia was just called.
Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love it.
There it is. Georgia is officially in the bag. That is a mighty red map, folks. Even if Arizona goes at this point, boy, bad night for Kamala.
Did they really call New York? Damn, I really wanted them to flip bread. I knew it was never going to happen.
I'm curious what the final tally was there, actually. Let's see here.
I mean, let's face it.
Almost 58 for Kamala, 42 for Trump, but that's way more competitive than a Republican should be in that state.
Yeah, man.
And that's with 70% reporting, by the way. I don't know if there's redder areas that could report.
Could you imagine, though?
Yeah.
It would be nice if there was just one big upset in favor of Trump, right? Like Oregon or something nobody really expected. Maybe Minnesota,
Yeah. Well, some of these states, they were claiming we're going to go for Kamala. Like I said, Iowa a week ago, they said was going Kamala +3. So that's already egg on their face. Ohio, we've been hearing about how much more competitive Ohio was supposed to be. And what did that go by ultimately? Jeez, look at that. 80% reporting, 55 to 43. A massacre.
Let us see here. Intrinsic Dark continues. I hope this is true because he's going to blow this thing out.
All right, guys. Okay, RazörForce, you ready? You clenched? Now you're probably going to see a few states here close the gap for Kamala a little bit, because there's some blue states in here, like New Mexico is not going red. It's going to go a little more red than last election cycle, I predicted, but it is definitely going blue. It's New Mexico, for crying out loud. And the big reason for that, the big driver for that is Latinos every single election cycle going more and more Trumpy. It started out with Cubans. It kind of expanded to other South American kind of Hispanics. And gradually, it's even starting to touch the Mexican and Puerto Rican communities. It's just getting a little bit redder every single election cycle. So New Mexico, I think, is going to not be quite as comfortable for Kamala, but I could be wrong.
So I know New Mexico, they used to be at least pretty competitive because I think they went for Bush in like 2004. Maybe that might have been the last time, but
yeah.
Let's see. The Nowhere Archive. I got a plan, Kamala. We just need 81 million. You know the thing. Joe Biden, probably.
Yeah.
Watch Kamala tomorrow morning. We wake up. Kamala's got 90 million votes, blowing out Biden's 81 million.
Yep.
King Cracker. A lot of first-time voters in Yavapai County, hoping they all went for Trump. Even my mom voted today, and she never has voted before. Yavapai County. That's Prescott and Sedona and all
up
that.
north,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a redder area, anyways.
Yeah, I think Sedona's half Yavapai, maybe a half Coconino County.
Yeah. Prescott's always been a little more red.
The Nowhere Archive just says, remember. That is correct. Today
it is the 5th of November. My goodness.
Yes. Carrot Coon. Hey, Razor. For this stream, should add... Oh, yeah, you read that one already. Should add Kirsha. Naturally stupid generated. Decision desk is wrong. VA hasn't been called yet. Did we call that yet?
What's that?
Virginia been called yet?
Virginia not. It was called a while back. With 95% reporting, it is looking like it's probably blue. They're separated by less than a point, but Trump is behind. With 95% reporting, I would have to think that's pretty much in the bag, but we'll see. That's probably going to be one that we're going to hear about for weeks and weeks and weeks. Looking like.
Primark.
Let me show you guys exactly what I mean here. That's what Virginia's. Look how close that is. That's what Virginia's looking like right now. But boy, that is close.
It disgusts me.
Yeah.
That's a blue state. Are you kidding me?
State Electoral College, folks. State Electoral College.
Primark. I voted this morning in northern Minnesota, which has turned purple since Trump. It's mostly the Twin Cities that keep us blue at this point.
By the way, salute to the 9,000 plus members of the RazörForce Offensive. Thank you for launching the offensive with us.
Good Lord. So many. Blue Oyster Cultist. Hi, Razor. Been a fan since the Brutal Legend review. Any chance of doing a rant on how grunge killed the music industry for rock music? We got this question on the last Razor Fist Arcade.
Yeah. And I don't agree that grunge killed rock music. I think the year 2000 and the advent of broadband internet kind of killed the monoculture. And when that happened, no genre was popular except whatever was popular at the moment. And at that moment, it was pop rap. And we've been, for the last 20 plus years, we've been stuck with pop rap. So.
Commander Wolf, Illinois was an early call. I voted on our God Emperor Trump. God effing Speed Racer. I pray to God Trump, that God Trump wins. Yeah. Love your content. Glory to you and your house. Norm Al Man. You know what? Phillips screw you guys. You need a Phillips screw to build your wooden desk. What? Is that a quote of something?
I don't know.
Juan Constantine. Lizards rise up. Oppress the humans. Yeah. Vote Democrat. Kamala forever. Kamala Catboy. Army of booty boys will win. This message is from the Copium Mine.
I can't believe we still have heard nothing out of Minnesota. What kind of shenanigans are going over there? 0% reporting out of Minnesota. What?
Mage Leader. Razor, Taran accosted you in the parking lot. Hey, you shut up.
Trump ahead in Wisconsin.
Excellent.
Would be nice to see Tim Walz lose his home state.
That would be hilarious.
Especially after all the crap he did in 2020.
I don't think he helped his case in that debate. My God. Never seen a live sexual assault before, but
The spaz from Rain Man. Accosted by a working girl? Yeah, that happens a lot when you stiff them on the bill.
no, it's hilarious. It was one of those things where it's like I was sitting there waiting to turn, and she's walking past, and she's like, "Can you give me a ride somewhere?" And I'm like, naively, I'm like, "Oh, she just needs to go down the street, whatever. Yeah, get in, whatever." And then I realized very quickly, "Oh, this is a whore." So I let her out.
Was she hot though?
Yeah. After we banged, of course.
Oh, yeah. They do the classic GTA, go to a parking spot.
Hot coffee, yes. We went for
Yeah,
some hot coffee, yes.
Bastard Luigi, Razor being accosted by a hooker just to bring him on the stream to chill with him and Hobo. Truly a man of the people. Hey, you shut up. Jack's Dino God trying to sneak stream on us with no announcement. Is YouTube not giving out announcements?
Yep. By the way, I wanna really zero in on this because this is the tail of the tape, honestly. Look at this differential between electoral votes in 2020 and 2024. Look at the difference. Look at that. Look at that. That is nuts. That is absolutely wild. This is definitely a different vibe here in 2024, folks. Different vibe.
So Arizona is only 53%, but it's now showing Kamala ahead.
Where is it? Minnesota?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
By
Yeah, I
0.2.
did see that, but it was very little of the vote counted. Yeah, they're separated by 0.2%.
Cordell Mitchell, Vox is calling it for Trump.
Vox Day?
Yeah.
Yes, smart guy. I think he knows what he's talking. I mean, look at all the state. Nevada. Actually, I'm curious about Nevada. Nevada isn't reporting anything, so I'm not sure. Nevada. Trump has been surprisingly competitive in Nevada the last several weeks, so I'm curious how that's going to go. And Idaho, we haven't heard anything out of either.
Matthew Pickard, what's the deal with the C-beams at the Townhauser Gate? Why are they glittering? Are they?
Why are the
Twilight?
attack ships on fire? Is the attack ship called the USS Liberty? Anyway.
Are they Twilight vampires?
Yeah.
And why is it dark? What is the deal?
What is the deal?
Number one schmuck, California for Trump. My state won't flip, but I hope by the time it's over, Kamala's margin here is smaller than anyone thought possible.
Godspeed.
Obsidian Mug, is that a Gantz profile picture? No, it is not. That's Killy from Blame.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Forbins. We are on Rumble as well. We have returned to Rumble with this stream.
Bad Idea Garage says Steiner Scout Lance marching for Trump.
Godspeed.
Matthew Pickard again at 270 was an inside job. Let's see, Andrew Van Halen. I expect nothing but pure fuckery out of PA and GA, but at least this time more people are paying attention, and we have better RNC leadership.
Much better. And the other thing that needs to be factored in is, with like Laura Trump up there and whatever, they've actually been pretty litigious. So whenever there's any kind of shenanigans, they've actually been taking these counties to court. Once the stories about the Pennsylvania in, Philadelphia and such started to come, they immediately took them to court. To shut that nonsense down. That's another thing that's very, very different from 2020. 2020, we had the Mitch McConnell brigade dragging their feet. We still have an element of that, sadly, but now there's been a change in leadership. And so there's actually a level of litigiousness when these irregularities are caught, which is far more encouraging than the last go around, I have to say. Again, I'm less interested in who wins than how they win. I am firmly of the mind that America would boundlessly benefit from Trump taking the popular vote. just to sort of forever diffuse the electoral college as an outmoded artifact narrative just once and for all. Like for the last 15 years, the left have laid that narrative on thicker than Don Lemon's pancake makeup, and it is enough already. It is enough. So that's really what I'm pulling for. It looks like Trump is winning the electoral college, but I'm curious if the popular vote is even in prospect at all.
Lump with the 50. Split second. My dad would watch with me when I was young.
Man.
Would love a review. I just want to contribute towards it. Love your work.
Godspeed. Yeah, that's a great movie. Have you ever seen that, Hobo?
Oh, what was it again?
Split second.
I have not seen it.
The Rutger Hauer like cyberpunk action movie with werewolves.
Oh,
pretty cool.
I'll have to look that up.
Tarian Border Patrol. Can somebody explain, like I need floaties in the shower, how anyone can declare a state with under 10% reporting?
Right. I think that's what they did with Virginia earlier. Pretty crazy. I don't know. Maybe if you're Fox News.
Quasar.
By the way, good moderation from Fox News tonight, not calling Arizona with 2% of the vote being counted.
Yeah, they learned from last time.
Quasar
voted Trump in California. Dems better watch out down the road. Hispanics, especially males, are slowly going red.
Yep. This is a different coalition, too. You're going to see, if you're looking for the familiar signposts of a Republican win from prior elections, you might have a long night, because this is a very different coalition from prior election cycles. Trump is getting support from areas he doesn't traditionally get support, or Republicans don't traditionally get support from, and he's getting it in larger numbers than 2020 it's looking like. So very interesting.
Let's see. Austin. I predict New Jersey or Michigan goes red. Everything turns out like we expected. Trump wins as a result.
Interesting.
Tiki
New Jersey would be surprising.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yeah. Well, with about 70% of the vote counted, it's 52 to 46 Kamala in New Jersey. So
that would be interesting if it could, but I don't know if he can get there.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Tiki the Hut. I wrote in Cobra Commander, a true man of the people. We deserve a weather dominator in 2024. Thoughts?
Indeed. Yes. Fantastic. Well, you took your principled Christian stand, right? With all these imperfect Republican candidates, you had to vote your conscience. I understand.
I'm just going to call you Paul because I can't pronounce that last name. Thank you for the 50. Who has a bigger one, Trump or Kamala?
Well, everyone was suspecting they were going to replace Kamala with Big Mike, so I'd have to err on that side.
Remember Kamala's race.
Yes.
Are we sure about that? Do we know?
What?
Her race.
Is she even sure of it? You know, there's an element of this race that hardly anyone has talked about, and that is that Kamala might not even be a proper U.S. citizen. Like, she might not actually be qualified to run for president because she was raised in Canada, and there's kind of some dubious shenanigans going on with that birth certificate, Obama style.
Yeah, but we haven't worried about that for 16 years.
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem anymore.
Who needs to worry about stuff like in the Constitution, you know? We don't need that anymore.
Good news for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Let's see. The king of history voted in Wisconsin, had a referendum whether or not people who are not U.S. citizens should be able to vote. Wild first super chat ever.
Godspeed. Thank you for joining the offensive, man. There's so many people joining the offensive tonight. Thank you.
Joseph Knight.
Up over 9,000 on this. Crazy.
It's over 9,000. Sorry.
Over not. Yes.
Coming in from far upstate New York here, and did my part for the first time to make it a little redder. Can someone remove the cyst off the butt of my state?
Indeed. It's a shame. State Electoral College, guys. It's the remedy we need at this point, really. Here's some shenanigans. It's been stuck at 95% reporting, and yet Kamala's total is still going up in Virginia. It's been stuck at 95 for a long time. Why does that look familiar?
Who could have seen that happening?
Yeah, we saw that in 2022 and 2020, right? Where the percentage doesn't go up, but the number of votes does.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about Arizona, man.
We'll see.
Because we know what happened in Maricopa County. I mean, that place is sketchy as hell.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
I mean, and she's marginally winning with 53% in. Yeah. Way too close for comfort either way. That's for damn sure.
Way too close. Way too, especially for Trump to have been tracking so far ahead the entire election. That doesn't really comport.
Heavy Western. Don't get too confident, everybody. It's still anyone's race. A lot can happen between midnight and 3:30 a.m.
Indeed.
Garfunkable. By the way, I'm seeing Trump has more than 81 million votes. So,
yes.
Kuma Teddy. Initial D. Trump 2.0 on the horizon.
Oh my goodness.
Bloodbathery. Carthage, Indiana had the biggest turnout ever. Didn't even think that many people lived here. Trump 2024. Fight, fight, fight.
Naughty Cicero. 81 million votes, guys. Gorillion, you mean? Dillion, billion, gajillion.
Professor Enoch. Watching from Malaysia. Let's go, Trump 2024.
Ah.
Welcome.
Ian Miles Chong checking in. Zach Nate. Hey, Razor, just wanted to say thanks for the entertaining year. I voted Trump in Ohio, and I'm hoping for a Trump victory, but I'm obviously wary after the previous. Regardless of the result, I look forward to more rants and gaming. Godspeed. Good, sir. Godspeed to you.
James Hernandez. After funneling so much money to the Democrats, will the Chinese take away sweet and sour memories from this election?
Ah, indeed. Suisapo.
Let's see. MC Corleone. Destiny denied cops let in J6ers into the Capitol. Really? Because we've got that on footage.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we saw it.
Oh, yeah, you literally can see it on video.
Salted God.
And more than one entrance, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
More than one camera shot of more than one entrance. And not only that, but after that, remember when the surveillance footage was released, Tucker Carlson got a hold of it and a bunch of people. And you could clearly see on camera, the Capitol Police not only let them in, they were leading them through the corridors.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Buffalo Head Man got a police escort around the building.
Yep. Like
they brought him to places for photo opportunities. Like, what the hell? Salted God, glad to see got to see Maiden in Philly. Oh, I think I read that one already. Maggie Spaffy Gaming. Thank God you went live. I was stuck getting pitched coffee and cookbooks for the last 2 hours.
Well, Godspeed. I'm not selling coffee. I'm not selling coffee here, folks. This isn't a quartering stream.
Mr. E, wishing you guys good luck from your friends up north. Hopefully Canada will have our own lefty purge in a year or so. Good luck with that, man.
Yeah, good luck with that, bro. It's a long ways from the days of Stephen Harper.
Giant Dad Vern. Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with a bucket and what?
Huh?
Finish the damn story. What happened? Oh, well. Common J, 2024 feels like 2016 energy, boys.
Feels a little bigger than 2016 energy to me. You know, like you didn't have Elon Musk backing Trump in 2016. You didn't really have a free social media It wasn't as bad in 2016 as it wound up getting in 2020 in terms of the censorship on social media. You don't have the Zuck bucks, right? Mark Zuckerberg his PAC wasn't able to contribute in as many of the swing states, although I think it was still involved personally. But of course, we saw his big form letter admitting that he basically did that at gunpoint after being threatened by the DOJ to remove his protections. Yes, it does feel like a different energy.
MK Ultraification. Don't count on GA. The fraud was major last time. The people who did it still have their jobs, and nothing was done to prevent it this time. We had entire counties with 0 Republican votes last time. Is that true?
Well, it has been called. Georgia has formally been called. So maybe that's an older super chat.
Maybe.
You mean CULLED, right?
Yeah, with 91% of precincts reporting, he has a nice, comfortable kind of 3-point lead there.
Let's see. Rubber legs for God Emperor Trump and Peanut, the sigillite. Peanut sacrificed himself to hold the line long enough for the God Emperor to seize the golden throne.
Harambe changed the energy in 2016, and Peanut changed it in 2024.
Let's go.
Without the government, who would kill our pets for us?
Indeed. Indeed. And it wasn't even the ATF this time. I mean, come on.
It was just the state doing the state things, you know? New Yorkers
New
getting
York
New York.
State doing New York State things. By the way, let's take a moment to shame the state of New York, guys. All these people, all the 3,696,675 bitches wanted to vote for the same regime that killed a squirrel. Let them be shamed in the book of names.
Why don't you go ahead and click on that new 100 we just got from Rug Q and first time super chat.
Is this it? Yes. Okay, let me see if I can bring that up. Where is it? Where'd it go? Ah, there it is. Okay, Paulie Market is betting 89% on Trump and 11% on Kamala for the electoral vote, and 75% Trump and 25% on Kamala. I assume that means in the popular vote. Tens of millions on the line. Things are cooking. Greetings from Switzerland. Ooh. The betting markets have been much more instructive in the last several election cycles, it's worth saying. And thank you for that one hundo in CHF, whatever that is.
Mario Carter. Trump constructs buildings. Kamala lays pipe.
I think it's the other way around on that, actually. But
well, I mean, you don't know. Don't judge.
All right. By the way, you can see there on our electoral tracker, 242 electoral votes for Trump. And Harris is not narrowed in some time. She's been stuck at 108 for quite a little bit. I was expecting a little bit more narrowing by now, but we'll see which way Arizona goes. Arizona bluer than expected, certainly. Although Trump is ahead presently with 54%, but it's way too close. 49.7%. That's shenanigans. That's shenanigans right there. But he is ahead. He is ahead.
Project.
Keep in mind, Republicans have done better with early voting this time around, but Democrats are still ahead in early voting. So a lot of this early stuff that's being counted is going to look bluer initially. So don't blackpill until you see the whole lay of the land. I'm not the only person warning about this. Richard Barris, great pollster, has been talking about this. Rasmussen's been talking about it. So, this happened in 2022, 2020, where the early ballot dumps were a lot bluer than the later ones. Unless they're after 4 a.m.
Project BRS, thank you for the 20 and first time super chat. Good morning, USA. At least here in Australia, it's funny seeing pro-Trump signs around here, mainly in the boomer regional areas. Godspeed, Razör.
Where at?
And the entire force. Australia.
Oh. Trump signs in Australia.
God, they need help down there.
Yeah, shouldn't have given up your guns, folks.
Yeah. I know. The people have to raise more emus.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Kieran Malinois. Razor, silly question. If Trump was in Battletech, what mech would he stomp around in? Ooh. That's tough. Atlas? Maybe an Atlas? What do you think
he goes
here?
Atlas, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you played much Mech Warrior, Hobo?
Not enough, but I would assume he would be around in a very big and beautiful, fantastic,
tremendous
mech.
King Crab, somebody said. Yes.
I like an Atlas. It's well balanced. It's big. It's beautiful.
Yeah. My favorite scat mech, believe me. All right.
Peen Wienerstein says, I got a notice on my door to take my Trump flag out of my window. I've seen flags in other people's windows remain for months. F these twigs, Trump 2024.
Bro, there was a dude in my neighborhood who had a Beto O'Rourke sign in his window. Like 4 years after Beto had lost the primary. Like
in Phoenix?
Yes.
It's like he's not even running there.
I laughed my balls clean off every time I walked past it.
That is funny.
What about Beto? He can still pull this thing out, guys. Beto's got this.
That's almost as good as still seeing Hillary 2016 stickers around.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm with her.
Dude, that happened after 2004. You remember the cope around the Carrie Edwards 04 people?
Yep.
Dude, those bumper stickers stuck around for so long after that election. People were butt mad.
Here's how Beto can still win, folks.
Yes.
Parrothead, Sam the Bull is all for Trump. Let's see. I read that one. Logie, I went to the last Trump rally in Grand Rapids. It was electric in there. I was behind the press and ripping the nastiest farts I could.
Ah, nice.
Godspeed, gentlemen. Pray for victory.
Yes. Ripping righteous peanut farts.
Joe Dalton, Australian here. Kamala looks and acts like the Joker's love child. How can anyone vote for that?
I think we can all tolerate the Joker's laugh a lot more than Kamala's cackle. I think. Like, what role do both of you think just sheer strip the paint off the walls unlikability has played in the result we're seeing thus far with Kamala? Like, what was the old Norm joke? People hated Hillary so much they voted for a guy they hated even more, right? It's kind of like, what role do you think this has played thus far in what we're seeing?
I mean, I guess there's a reason she hasn't been giving many interviews.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to finish up and say, like, every interview she's done has had copious amounts of cringe in it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, she's definitely just generally unlikable. I mean, because remember what she got in the Democrat primaries? Nothing. Like, she was just installed. But also the fact that, like, she's not even, you can tell with Trump, the guy's willing to sit down on Joe Rogan for like 2-3 hours and all these other podcasts.
Without a potty break, bro. I can't even do that.
Yeah, right. 3-hour podcasts, and just have a normal conversation like a normal human being. She can't do that. She can do a 15-minute thing, and then her handlers are waving her off already.
Not Spatio. Trump needs a victor. Yes.
You know what? Continuing on that thought, last night, Trump was on with like 3 hours. He gave his speech or something.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala was, I think this was Pennsylvania, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kamala was in town too, giving a speech. She was up there for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
She gave a 9-minute speech and then fucking left.
Yep. It reminds me of Sarah Palin when she ran out of speeches to give, when the McCain campaign was kind of throwing her to the wolves and they started kind of hiding her. Only Sarah Palin was just a vice president, right? This is the woman at the top of the ticket. This cannot inspire confidence. I think there's a reason Obama's been keeping his head down the last several days. Personally, he's got to know.
Let's see. Con Crumb. Anyone else notice nothing is reporting west of the Rockies? Dems hiding ballot printers in the mountains.
Right.
Overture
Well,
Saint.
keep in mind, you can't, it's a fun meme, but that's not the way fortification works. You need people to be registered for you to take their ballots. So you can't just print them into existence. It doesn't really work. All right.
Overture Saint. Could we get Trump smack talking the clans, especially the smoke jaggies?
Right. Let's see here.
Clan smoke jaguar. I mean, clan smoked jaguar.
There we are.
Roadkill. Trump beat Hillary and
right.
will beat Kamala. Trump is an expert woman beater.
Are you sure we're not talking about Emhoff now? Anyway, or Ruben Gallego.
Dwarf Man. Had the state election here in Queensland just the other week. Best of luck with your own country's election. Seems to be going in your favor.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to have to wrap it up pretty soon here. It's after 9.
Let's see. We'll
We
read
can
it.
roll on through here. Thank you, guys. My goodness, 9,400 of yous.
My God. Let's see. Big Mike. Bernie Moreno has an impressive lead in Ohio. Excited for him to oust 20-year incumbent Sherrod Brown. Who was that? What was that about our election laws, Razor? I'm not familiar with it. Did something change?
In where?
He's in Ohio.
Oh, Ohio. After the 2004 election, you guys tightened up your election laws. Remember, Kerry, we almost had a situation like 2000 with Al Gore, where John Kerry was getting ready to try and challenge the election in court because of the issue with ballots and irregularities. They kind of had a hanging Chad situation there. So they reinforced their election laws, and wouldn't you know it, gradually the state got more and more red after that. Funny how that works. And they've added more election restrictions as time has gone on, actually.
Night Shift. Trump might flip Maine. Epic win. I don't know about that.
Yep.
What's the map say?
Might flip Maine. I don't know. Let's take a look. He is ahead, but only 6% reporting. I don't know how accurate that is. It's pretty late for it to only be 6% out of Maine. Let's take a look here. Let me show you. But he is ahead 51-47, but that's 6%. I wouldn't put too much stock in that.
Has Silent Hill reported in yet?
Right.
Update on Michigan here, actually. It's 32% reporting. Kamala's at 51.4. Trump's at 46.9.
Okay. Boy, that would be wild if Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota didn't vote in line with one another. That would be weird.
Kresnik. Trump just passed 88% on NYT. Initial D time. Fire up the DeLorean. It's time to go back.
There we go. Kamala Harris making up a bit of ground as California is called. I saw that in the chat a little bit, but they were a little bit tardy with calling that. That's no surprise. That's no surprise. I am curious the hard vote total. Oh, less than 1% reporting? What? They called California with less than 1%. Granted, it's probably accurate. They would vote for Hitler if he had a D next to his name. Interesting. Yeah, less than 1% on the total there. A little Fox News situation. Interesting.
Jimbo, thank you for the great election coverage. Go Trump.
Wow. Yeah, let me show you guys. Let me show. This is lunacy.
It looks like Napa County or whatever is the only one reporting in.
Yeah,
of course,
look
is a
at
leftist stronghold too.
Look at this. 14,889 votes, less than 1% reporting. They called California. Now, we know California is very likely to go blue, but what?
I see Robert F. Kennedy on there. I forgot about that.
What?
He's staying in those states to take votes away from Democrats. That's brilliant.
And he's being sued to stay in the race in states where he takes votes away for Trump, which is hilarious. Democrats even pretending to be pro-democracy. It's just high comedy.
Humble dirt merchant. Trump did 3 hours on Rogan, no breaks, because he has a tremendous bladder.
Tremendous. You know, I don't know what alarms me more, Kamala ducking Joe Rogan or the fact that she picked as her surrogate Uncle Festerman. Right? Can you, the guy who's like a stuttering, stroke-ravaged mess. Yeah, that guy will be my mouthpiece. Let's make that happen. And by the end of that appearance, Festerman was pretty much agreeing with Joe Rogan, which was hilarious.
Man, Fetterman's brain surgery or whatever the fuck happened to him certainly didn't help him with the whole, politi-talk where he's like, Joe Rogan's bringing up great points about this and that and immigration. And yeah, you're trying to flip states. And Fetterman's like, well, you see, it's very complicated. And, immigration, I feel is better on a whole. He's just avoiding the question altogether.
Right. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
The commander, 1 second after the polls closed, Oregon, Washington, and California called for Kamala. Idaho called for Trump.
Yeah. Idaho called for Trump, which does put him at 246. Pretty close.
Very
pretty close.
Closer than it should be, let's be honest.
Yeah.
This should
I'm saying he's pretty close to getting over the finish line. I mean,
yeah, we got Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin to worry about. I think those are the big three.
Yep. I'm going to check in on
we got Arizona. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Trump's still ahead in Wisconsin by like a 3-point differential, which is, I find very, very interesting. Let me share that up on screen. And that's with 62% reporting, so not a small total. That is surprising. That is really surprising. Madison and all that going. That going blue doesn't surprise me that much, but yeah, it's 62% out of Wisconsin. Crazy. And let's see here. Minnesota, still nothing, at least not on this website. Michigan, yeah, Kamala comfortably ahead in Michigan. That'd be crazy if those three states did not vote in line with one another. Classically, they tend to.
Magnum Norse, thank you for the 20. Kamala doesn't know when to stop slurping thine Johnson until it's time to coup.
Let's see it again.
Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
There we are.
Sleepo.
Godspeed, everyone.
MAGA listens to Guilty Gear.
Yes. We are nearly at 10K live viewers, folks.
Tab.
RazörForce, you're incredible. Godspeed each and every one of you. Now get down on your knees, put your head down, and get to work. Like that girl I picked up earlier. No.
Talking motorcycles, brother and I learned on my Honda Rebel. Second bike was a Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. We'll get an Indian next.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bam Bislin, Razor, don't leave. That's how you jinx us.
That's true. That is true. The last election stream where I split, it immediately went the other way. Of course, I mean, what can I do? Stream until 5 a.m.? That's the only way you prevent the 4 a.m. ballot dump.
Well, just get some caffeine going.
Right? A little bit of coffee going.
Tiggy is not allowed to go to sleep.
Yes.
Sean P. Aussie here. The Trump signs here would be because those in the know get it. Get if you go to war, they get what we will be dragged into as your troops on the ground ally. Our dollar is also tied to your own.
Someone says, grab the Dr. Thunder.
Yeah.
He's got a doctorate in thunder.
101 Elric, Aragorn. It cannot be. Mysterious glowing white squirrel. I am Peanut the White. And I come back to you now at the turn of the tide.
Yes.
Now I need about 350.
Yeah.
Jay reads, Kamala's campaign is no longer giving any comments for the night, according to Fox News.
Who? Kamala's campaign?
That's what he says.
Boy, that's a little early to be turning in. I don't know about that one. She's, oh man, that tells me she's waiting on some mail trucks.
Yep.
Interesting. Of course, have you heard much about the leaks out of her campaign about her throwing fits and Tim Walz jerking off with his own tears in the corner and freaking, they've been having some meltdowns in the Kamala campaign. That's the rumor anyways, the last couple of weeks. Have either of you heard about that?
No.
Not really.
No, I haven't heard of any behind the scenes stuff.
Of course, you have to wait until after Election Day to see if the Democratic base shows up, not to speak ill of the dead or anything. But
Ted Nelson, Trump's still up 3% in PA with 70% in.
All right.
Ian Campbell, thank you for the first time super chat. Doesn't say anything, but it is appreciated.
Yeah, Trump has pulled ahead in Pennsylvania with over 70% reporting. Let me show you guys. That is pretty wild. Getting down to the wire. He takes Pennsylvania. Like, you know, the first domino would be Georgia. Second for me would be Pennsylvania. If that's it, I think the other dominoes fall. Even if you lose Arizona in a cloud of Californians and electoral shenanigans, I think T-Rump's got her in the bag at that point.
David, we get a second Trump presidency before GTA 6.
Right. Here's, wouldn't it be amazing if Trump is so privileged he gets elected 3 times and only gets to be president twice?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Hey, he took a 4-year break. That's all.
Right. He just wanted his summers off like a school teacher.
David, thank you again for that first time, or the 20th super chat. Let's see here. Going back to some older ones. Emperor Soft Turtle. Pray for me, boys. I got quite a bit on a Trump and a little bit on Kerry. Oh, you betting man, are you?
A little bit on yeah, we don't have, I don't think we have here the Kerry Lake Gallego race. I'm not, dude, if it's that close for Trump in Arizona for real, we'll see as the count comes in. I don't like Kerry's chances at that point. She does need the headwind. She needs Trump to kind of offset the political headwinds there. She's got to get a little bit of coattails, and that pulls her over the line. If that doesn't get a little bit better looking for Trump, maybe Trump wins, but she probably loses, which would, God, I can't imagine a worse. That would be black pill time for me, because Gallego is one of the worst politicians in the entire country. Just an absolute piece of human refuse.
I was going to say
Ocasio-Cortez and some of these other people are bad. This dude spent 4 straight hours mocking me and my followers, some of whom were his constituents, on social media until his campaign staff intervened and took his passwords away. That's Ruben Gallego. This guy is a clown. Terrible candidate.
Oh, he was going after you, huh?
Yes. I forget what for. This was years ago. But yeah, I've still got screenshots of that. Crazy.
Yeah, I guess if Arizona goes Democrat, then we'll officially be behind enemy lines here.
Oh yes. Well, until we move.
Michael says,
how's South Dakota this time of year? Snowy, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been looking at Montana actually.
Yeah.
Michael says, if Trump wins, will the Dems try to Minecraft him before January? They have too much to lose, in my opinion.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, they took 2 turns at the wheel already. I don't know. By the way, welcome 10,000 members of the Razor Force.
Woo!
We have eclipsed some larger channels that I saw earlier. So that's pretty cool. Channels larger than ours, I mean.
Macon, right now Fox News has Trump 216, Kamala 193.
Interesting. Yeah. There's some updates that need it. Like I said, Kamala, she's due for some correction here. There's gonna be some more electoral votes for Kamala here that she's waiting on.
We have.
I'm curious about Alaska. I haven't heard anything, but it's been getting bluer the last several election cycles.
We got a new big one from Alec Henry McLaughlin. If you want to bring that one up screen.
Sorry, what was it?
We have a 50 from Alec Henry McLaughlin.
Oh, I see it. Alec Henry McLaughlin. Evening all. If Kamala does win, Boogaloo, would red states become independent and defy federal mandates? I don't see an actual war like the original, but more and more states defying federal rule. You all have a good night. Well, didn't you hear Beto O'Rourke? That question was settled in a courthouse in Appomattox, right? States no longer have rights, according to Beto O'Rourke. So, it is what it is.
Can't imagine why that guy lost.
Yeah, can't imagine. John Wick, hail God Emperor. Freedom never sleeps. Godspeed. Give me liberty or give me death. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the iced earth at the beginning of the stream, by the way. I thought it was germane, given... by the way, I didn't get to ask you, Tactical Hobo. What do you think about the John Schaefer stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting.
For those set the stage, because there's 10,000 of you, some of you might not be up to speed. John Schaefer, probably the most famous of the January 6th detainees. He's the guitarist and band leader of a famous heavy metal band, platinum metal band, Iced Earth. And he was at January 6th. He was picked up, supposed member of the Oath Keepers, although they immediately denied that he was actually a member. And so he just got his sentence. And are you ready for the domestic terroristic sentence? This ghoul, this modern day Unabomber, 3 years probation.
Which is actually entirely too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe,
it only matters is that he's guilty, right? That's all that matters. You want the headline. It's like with Trump. They pushed him through that trial. They made sure it went through fast. Nobody, they stacked the odds against him just so newspapers could have the headline, Trump convicted criminal. That's it. It was just for headlines.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see here. Naturally stupid generated. Do you think Trump will take VA? It's close. Let me take a look at it. How's it looking? We haven't checked in on it in a while. 2 points off with 95% reporting. It is looking like Kamala takes it. Let me show you guys this on the screen. See here. That's not that surprising. She campaigned heavily in the D.C. region, and really that's who she was campaigning for in Virginia. She doesn't give a crap about Virginia. She wants those people in Richmond. That's what she wants, the people just outside, like who are essentially in a suburb of Washington, D.C. That's who she was marketing toward in the final days of the campaign. And that result would tend to reflect it for me. But still, you look at the actual vote total, they're not separated by that many votes. They really aren't. And who knows how the state of Virginia counts mail-in ballots. So there could still be some Trump ballots floating out there, but I'm not sure. All right, share this tab instead.
Let's see.
All right.
Eric the Red. The fact Trump admitted his biggest mistake was trusting neocons on Rogan is big.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Did you see the bit he did about John Bolton?
Yeah.
John Bolton, complete sociopath, an absolute nut job. But, I kind of made it work for me because he was such a nut job that nobody wanted to mess with us. He has a point there. And it's interesting. That does seem like a tactic Trump has used, like with Mad Dog Mattis and Bolton and whatever. I did say something to that effect when Bolton was announced. I was like, I'm not sure. I don't like Bolton. I don't like that he's being appointed, but he, depending on how he uses him, he could make it work for him a little bit. And that's kind of how Trump explained it. But still, I would not like to have Bolton anywhere near this administration.
Yeah. Hearing North Carolina got called.
North Carolina's been called. Yes. Trump has won. Trump has officially won North Carolina, which I was a little up in the air on that one. I wasn't sure if he was going to take that one. If he's winning contests that were a little more toss-uppy like that, then he's having a good night already.
Trump is back ahead in Arizona now, 49.7 to 49.5, with 54% reporting.
Well, election day turnout was bound to be a little bit more Republican, as it tends to be. So we'll see. I'm just wondering how they're going to handle the mail-in ballot situation. Right?
Yes.
I think we're both wondering.
Bastard Luigi, don't remember if it was you, but I remember hearing that Obama pushed Walls over Shapiro, sacrificial lamb to conserve Shapiro's political capital? Question mark.
I think that was a concern. I think another one was Gaza happened, right? Shapiro, Jewish guy. And there is a sizable chunk of the Democratic base right now that is very pro-Palestine. And I think the only reason Kamala's in there is to preserve the Democratic base and save some down-ticket races. I really don't think they had much of a prayer of her winning, to be honest. I've said that for a while. But, so if you're going to go after the base, you can't be putting someone like Shapiro in there who's really more of an across-the-aisle candidate.
LOL STI says, "Are you winning yet, son?"
In several of the states, it's looking pretty good for Trump right now, but there's still a number of states that could definitely go blue. Definitely. Oregon, looks like Oregon's been called with 49%. Yeah, no surprise there. No surprise there by a large differential, 62 to 35. Pretty much that's the state of Portland. Let's be real. That's not even the state. That's just a city.
Yep. Yeah.
Again, state electoral college, gang.
Jesus reminds us, don't forget Streamlabs, fellas. Unfortunately, I do not have access to that right now.
I do have access to that, and I will take a look at that right now. I have it open.
Paladin Dragoon writer. California native here. I apologize for the morons from LA. That's a lot of apologizing.
That's a lot of apologizing. I hope you have a lot of breath in your lungs.
Grenado, how long before Gorka shows Trump a Razor video?
Who knows? Maybe he already has. I don't know. He did. He's introduced me to a few different people, actually.
Oh, cool.
Okay, let's see here. Hardcore Bunny, Kamala supports revolving door prisons. Kamala even released Donald Trump, a man twice convicted of saying a woman lied about rape. Can you trust a woman like Kamala? Vote Trump. Jacob spent the better part of today not paying attention to the election while being a check-in judge. Glad to see the Trumpster doing well. May fall asleep before it's said and done. We probably all will. Whether or not political violence is the answer depends largely on the question, says Kitchen Rebels. Angry Salt Shaker, hail from the Reading area of Pennsylvania, gents. No issues voting for me in my area. It's been kind of shocking seeing the wholesale turnaround from Biden to Trump. Godspeed, gents. Jesus, Evening RazörForce voted today in PA for Trump. Being Mexican, I was offered a sample Democratic ballot. When I walked, I chuckled and told the guy, nah, man, I'm good. Trump 2024. I would have loved to see his face. Necroner, PA voter here. Polls in rural counties just closed because for some reason, almost all the computer tabulators that scan the votes were not working. Boy, that sounds familiar. That happened in 2022, my man. Here in Arizona, I mean. Dude, the old lady who was putting my ballot through had to put it through like 30 times. And she was giving me the dirtiest look the whole time. It's like she saw how I filled out my ballot. I don't trust poll workers. I don't know about you, but I think nothing has taken more of a credibility hit with me in the last several election cycles than poll workers. Because what we have seen in the last several election cycles would have been impossible without poll workers going into business for themselves. Impossible. And then just a couple more. Eltron Greymane, can we get a quick rant about monarchists and how it's just another form of communism unless God is the monarch? Bro, we got a lot of election to get to tonight. Maybe at a later date. Let's see here. And the Kitchen Rebels, a toast. It's been a while since we celebrated the since I've celebrated the 25th of a month, which is another month since John McCain performed his finest act as a senator by assuming room temperature. Now, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it really hard. Cigar chomping penguin. In the likely event that Trump wins, do you think Biden will get 25th so that Harris and the Dems get their precious first nonsense? That would be interesting. Although, would they even really technically be the first? Because ultimately, Edith Wilson, folks, that was our first female president back in the day. Hey, by the way, welcome to the almost 11,000 members of the Razor Force.
My God.
Absolute lunacy, guys. It's crazy. Razor Force out in force. That's the last of the Streamlabs, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, we got some more super chats over here. Let's see. I read that and that and that. Another one from Dwarf Man. Mailing ballots makes sense in Australia federal elections due to how remote rural areas of the Australia are. But does the U.S. have that issue? You know, United States is a pretty big place. So, I mean, in some areas, it kind of makes sense.
Gargantuan-ish, yeah. But here's the thing. We do have the means to have conveniently located polling stations, which we didn't do for early voting, by the way. That is a story that not many people have talked about. We mentioned this on the previous Razor Fist Arcade stream, but dude, the early voting locations left much to be desired this time around. Last election cycle, I could go down the street and vote. And then a block down from there, I could vote. And a block down from there, I could vote. This election cycle, there was one early voting station in the entire capital of Phoenix. One. And it was downtown. That was it. Chandler didn't have a single one. Queen Creek didn't have a single one. Gilbert didn't have a single one. Freaking lunacy. Tempe, there was like one on the border with Tempe and like, I forget, Scottsdale or something like that. And there was one little one there. So technically not even in Tempe. It was crazy. It was like, obviously, this is a lean Republican election. So we're going to really, really clamp down on the early voting. Just blatant, just absolute naked election interference.
We talked about this on the last arcade. Both Chandler and Gilbert are right next to each other. And both of them not having any early voting stations. That's insane.
Yep.
That is election interference.
Totally crazy. How many were there any early election stations rather near you, Hobo?
You know, I didn't really look into it because I was planning on voting election day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in Cochise County, for those wondering, southern part of the state. And here it was like, it's different. You could vote. You could actually vote at like any of the polling places within the county. So, and there was a good number of them, but I'm not sure about the early voting.
Yeah.
Composite Frylock, thank you for the 2. Keegan Phoenix, thank you for the 2.
Yep.
Merlot Williams, glad you could make it, Razor. I saw on Side Scrollers you didn't think you'd be able to make it tonight. May God watch over all of us and Godspeed.
Yeah, I'm glad we slid in there under the wire, but we are going to try and wrap it up soon-ish here if we can get through your stuff. We will, of course, still have your super chats and stuff so we can read them out on later streams, but
yeah, but it is getting late.
Yep.
James Dean, thank you for the 20 and the first time super chat. Razor, you should do a stream with the aristocratic utensil.
Godspeed. Yeah, I do know who that is. All
right. Viper 45 says also France has surrendered. Again.
Dang it. Okay. If let's take the opposite tack. If Kamala wins, what do you think they do to consolidate one party rule? What do you think? My suspicion would be they add 2 more states, which means 4 more senators, which is like all she wrote for like Puerto Rico or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a move.
Stack the court.
Yeah.
Stack the court, that kind of thing. What about you, Hobo? What do you think?
Yeah, of course it depends on the Congress results as well, if they can get away with that. But yeah, they would absolutely try DC, Guam, Puerto Rico. Heck, you could do the northern like Mariana Islands. You could potentially have like 4 or 5 new states if you really wanted to.
You really could.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely the way they go. Because at this point, if Trump can't win this, then it's over for the Republican Party. Like, they're going to stop the Republicans as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the whole point. I mean, guys, who didn't read anything into the fact that they only swapped out Biden after the bullet missed Trump, like within days of the bullet missing Trump? Dude, the debate was long before that. If it was just because Biden performed poorly in the debate, why the delay? I get that you had to put some machinery in place to get Kamala in there, but if you don't think Kamala was sitting in the catbird seat thinking, I'm going to replace this guy after she saw that debate, you're kidding me. You're kidding yourself. All right.
Magnum Norse, marry a goblin, have
Whoa. Big headline here. Michigan is flipped by almost a full point.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
A 10,000 vote differential with 40% reporting, but that's big movement. Making it a little more interesting here with Trump.
Come on, Michigan.
Interesting.
Don't disappoint.
Yeah, that is someone saying, dang, is that red? Actually, let me take another look at that map. That is pretty darn red. That really is. Again, state electoral college. Even if you did this by county, you obviously apportion according to population. What it really forestalls, you would give a ton of electoral votes to Detroit. Don't get me wrong. They would get the representation they need. But if enough of these counties banded together and wanted to countervail against some tyrannical policy that Detroit wanted to pass down, because keep in mind, what Detroit votes on gets imposed on the other counties. What if Detroit wants high-speed rail to go through all these counties? The counties don't even get a voice in that. Detroit has more voters. You add that electoral college on the state level, and suddenly, if enough of those counties that it's going to pass through band together, you can actually forestall that. And that is the exact reason the electoral college was put in place. The exact reason. That actually, something like that happened in Washington State, right? There's this rail that's supposed to pass through a bunch of adjoining red counties. And of course, it was passed where? In Seattle. So Seattle's basically just tyrannically ruling over the whole state, and the entire state has to suffer the consequences. Under a state electoral college system, if enough of those counties banded together, they could have defeated that.
It's incredible. It just highlights that we need that.
Oh, yes.
More than ever.
Well, you know, there's that saying, there's actually no blue states or no red states. There's only blue and red counties, right?
Yeah.
And by county, it's like 95% of the counties, something like that in the US are actually red counties.
Whoa. We're going to check in on Polymarket real quick for the betting odds. You guys want to guess what the percentage is, what the percentage break is on Trump versus Harris winning?
I'm going to say 70 Trump.
I'm going to say 90, 10.
Taran, ding. Tell him what he's won.
Whoa.
Oh, almost 95. Hey.
Ding. You've won a functioning country. Congratulations.
I knew I forgot the thing. I forgot to put money on Trump.
These are the people who have skin in the game, folks. These are the people who have skin in the game. That is wild. That's crazy. Now, you know, it's not a poll. It's not an official election result. So curb your enthusiasm, folks. But yeah, that is wild. Doesn't look all that different from this election map so far, though. I do have to say, doesn't look all that different from the real election map so far.
Magnum Norse, marry a goblin, have sex with a goblin, have babies with a goblin. Yeah. English Kriegsman, watching from the UK. If Trump wins, tell him to invade us. Stalin Starmer would wave the white flag and then faint just by the sight of the gold tuft.
The gold tuft. Dude,
that guy sounds like... all right. Sorry, UK, not really. But that dude, Kerr Starmer, or whatever the fuck his name.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fucking SS general.
Yeah.
That's the name of a bad guy in a Nazi movie.
Yeah. What is even going on over there?
Jay Farrow, thank you for the $2 and the first time super chat. Norm Al Man, How ridiculous will the shenanigans be? Hey, well,
well,
stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, stay tuned to find out if they're going to happen. Unfortunately, you're going to see it a little bit later. Although I would say if it was going to be particularly blatant, we would have seen some of it already. But all right, Salted God, last one got buried, but howdy, Razor. Went to see Maiden in Philly last night. Oh, shoot. You already read that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Dumbasta. Even if they try to fortify, we've seized Twitter, and Musk is on our side to broadcast the evidence of their sedition until it covers the ionosphere. Let's see. I read that one. Bong Sips. People think that Trump was shot in the ear, but if you freeze the footage just right, you can see a blurry image of Mike Tyson.
Oh my God. Did you see Mike Tyson training for that fight with Paul?
No.
She's almost 60, right?
I think it's 58. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless that fight is a complete work, and spoiler alert, guys, I'm pretty sure all of those Paul boxing matches were a work. He's going to get decapitated.
Yeah, Logan Paul's pretty tough, but Mike Tyson in his 60s, that's still a force to be reckoned with.
That's a scary guy. That's a scary, scary man. Matthew Drum, I don't know if we read this, but with 50, thank you. Hi from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Sadly, my county going for Cackles the Clown. Thanks for great live coverage. Yeah, but your state, bro. Your state. Look at your state.
The state of Wisconsin.
Yes. Right there. North Carolina called for Trump with a 3-point differential and 90% of precincts reporting. That is in the bag for Trump.
Good job, boys. Timothy Reaper. What's Keith Olbermann up to tonight?
Listening to emo music and slitting his wrists. We can hope.
Getting in the car with Bono.
Yes, he's piling into the car with Bono. Absolutely. All right. Looks like Washington has gone for Kamala Harris. No surprise there.
Pity.
Although it's with 56% of precincts reporting, but it's a large vote differential. So I wouldn't be at all surprised there. But I think we all pretty much had that down for Kamala.
It's your boy Hans says, what numbers are right? AP? Daddy Wire?
What do you mean?
Numbers. What are we looking at here? What the website?
Official election numbers? We are currently using 270 to win, which use a variety of sources. So
let's see. I read this one from Tater and Ed Master. Insert name here. Hey, Razor, have you heard of Full Moon Matinee? He uploads noir movies on YouTube. Before the movie, he summaries the movie. You should collab. Oh, maybe for a New Archives.
Yeah, maybe. I need to do another New Archives. Let's see here. Joseph Knight with the 50. Godspeed. My beloved North Country, New York is absolutely a vassal to the crazies in the city. All the same, I still voted red. On a brighter topic, ever listen to Beast in Black? Their album Dark Connection is killer, in my opinion. Yeah, I've heard of Beast in Black. I think we might have even used him in a video or two. What about you, Hobo? You listen to Beast in Black?
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah. Real catchy stuff.
Viper 45. Are they sending their best, Razor?
Are they? Who knows? Depends on what their best is for. Is it voting? Is it assault? Is it commandeering apartment buildings in Colorado? It just depends.
Andrew McGraw. Tim Pool has to buy beanies? That's not his scalp?
Right?
Austin
my working theory is he was scalped by Indians years ago. Someone's saying Ted Cruz won his election in Texas. He was tracking way ahead in Texas. So that doesn't surprise me. Andrew Gorman, thank you for that update. I haven't been paying attention to the down ticket races. So,
who's up for governor in Texas? Is it still what's his name or Is that election going on right now?
I don't even know if that is the current election. I think that was in a midterm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see here.
Jeb, of course, with the come from behind win.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is going to turn yellow any second.
Yes!
Please clap.
Austin Harn, I was asked as a Christian, how could I support a candidate who is a convicted felon?
Yep.
I answered with, my God is a convicted felon.
Yeah. Jesus was a convicted felon.
Good answer.
The Apostle Paul was a beheaded convicted felon. John the Baptist, convicted felon. We have a long and storied history of being convicted felons in the Christian church.
We will always be persecuted. Night shift. Brace yourself. The red wave is here. I think you already highlighted this one. By Hellion of Liberty. What do you think of the black metal band Windeer?
Vindeer. They're not bad. They're not bad. I don't think they're going on anymore because their singer, whatever, died years ago. But they're all right. The most black metal way to go. He went walking out in the woods in a blizzard and froze to death. Like, how amazing is that? How amazing is that? The most metal way to go.
Godspeed. Glad my home state of Florida is no longer a swing state. Hope once we get past this election business, we can get some more depths of DS9 soon.
Yes, indeed. We did record one, but we're working on getting it uploaded. There's some goofiness with the website we're trying to upload it to. Yeah, we do have one.
Mercenary X, glad to be here. Sorry, I was watching a Salty Cracker. Don't let it happen again.
Yeah, don't let it. We'll let it slide this time.
Did you answer this one from Clank? I'm a tank.
With 80% reporting, by the way, Trump taking a larger lead in Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Interesting. 51 to 47. Not a huge lead, but bigger than he had, right? It was only by like portions of a point before that.
I see that as substantial.
Yeah, that is very.
In terms of actual numbers, it's about 200,000.
Especially with 80% reporting.
The one I was talking about was Vivek for JD's Senate seat, is what they say.
Not a bad choice, although you got to imagine Vivek would be on the short list for the administration itself.
Nate says, I saw Gwar in Dark Funeral this weekend. And Matt says, the battle to retake Deep Space Nine. Wolfgang, Bernie Moreno won the Senate race in Ohio. And thank you for the first time super chat.
Sweet. Fox finally giving Trump North Carolina. Dude, it's been called for how long? 2 hours? What? Fox are just an absolute clown show. I think Trump today, maybe they're a little ass pained because today, I don't know if you saw on WorldNet Daily, I saw it reported, Trump was just absolutely shelling Fox News. He was decimating them. Where is it? What's the quote here? Oh, yeah. It's a disgrace what Fox does. Nice.
Asher, you'll never guess who won New Jersey? Bob Menendez.
There we are.
Robert Berserk, thank you for the $5 and the sticker. Let's see. I read that one. The Winged Hussar, give us Crimson Cali. Glory to Jesus Christ. Yeah. We got a new 50 there.
Here we go. Detroit Otaku with the 80. Godspeed. Thank you for joining the Razor Force here tonight. Nearly 11,000 strong right now. Project Veritas has reported that the Wayne County machine is pulling shenanigans in Michigan again. Boxes of ballots arriving in Detroit via cars with California plates. That happened in 2016, in 2018, needless to say, it happened in 2020. Of course, 2016, the only documented, proven case of shenanigans going on in 2016 was there. It was as a result of the Jill Stein audit, if you remember. There were 20,000 something votes that had no corresponding physical ballot discovered in Michigan. And then immediately the Hillary Clinton campaign sued Jill Stein to get that audit shut down. And that story went away.
How does this happen again? How do you not have cops waiting out there for them?
Who's in charge in Michigan? It's all, it's not your vote that counts. It's your count who votes. But yes, that is interesting. Thank you for the update. Project Veritas out there pounding the pavement.
Deaf Monkey, Georgia trouble or delay. Oh, actually, I read that one already. Satellite Cannon. Hey guys, glad to see you together again. Do you think the Dems still have a chance to steal this election, or does Trump have to stunt on these hoes?
He does. I think either way he needs to, because we kind of need it as a country. Like we just need a slightly more decisive election than the last several times. So, all right. Are we getting close to the end here? Because we need to wrap it up. We are over 11,000, by the way.
There's a lot of super chats. I don't know if
Crazy.
we can get through all of these.
Okay, well, let's see here. Sierra 119 worked through lunch today so I could get off early to go vote. Double crossing my fingers. The Trump pulls out a win. Let's see here. Duranus, with the ongoing election insanity, I'll ask you oh, no, actually, read that one. Let's make Bono's threat a reality. Chewy Fernandez. Don't let Peanut's death be in vain. Yep. I think these are all ones that we have read before. Let's get down here.
Crusader Saracen, stay on target.
Stay on target. Commander Wolf, Illinois was an early call. It definitely was. They called it very, very early. And it was, what did we check? When we checked it for the first time, it was single digits percentages of precincts reporting. As predicted, narrowing with some of the bluer states on the eastern seaboard being called for Kamala. All pretty solid Democratic states. Nothing super, super surprising here. But it does put her up over 200, which is not anything that even those predicting a landslide hadn't predicted. So, yep, like I said, there were bound to be those states there that were going to go for Kamala, and it looks like that's what has occurred.
Rourke Ford just says, I just want to afford a house, bro.
Right? Don't we all?
Steve.
Never mind a house. How about groceries? Let's start with groceries.
Icon said a new album is on the way with the original vocalist returning, but that was announced pre-COVID.
Jeez. There's been a few of those, man. There's a few bands like Madison. They announced like a reunion and a new album, and I haven't heard anything about it since. That was in like 2021 or something.
NeoArc, with the Trump win, how big of a freakout will Jim Cornette have?
Oh, we can hope. We can hope. By the way, some movement on Polymarket. They're actually saying more certain that Trump wins. That's pretty wild. It's actually gone up from 95.3 to 96.4.
Damn.
Since the last time we checked. That's pretty crazy.
Anthony
but again, they did predict Trump would win in 2020, which of course he did.
Anthony Jordan, you convinced me to get out and vote, Razor. Thank you.
Godspeed. Glad I was able to move the needle there.
Zany Boy, off topic, but have you read C.S. Lewis's The Screw Tape letters? If
of course.
So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, one of his best. Absolutely.
It's your boy Hans. Door County, Wisconsin, usually dictates how the state goes. Leaning red at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Tons of these boys. My goodness, so many people to read here. I'm trying to go through the list with you. While
the list is enormous.
Yep. You're on who now?
I was on Overkill, but now they're disappearing. Is that you doing that?
I'm removing them from the top, not from the bottom. The ones that we've already read.
Mercenary X, the real military only falls Orange Man. Kenzo Steve. Yeah, I'm from Philly and heard there was some voting shenanigans on the radio this morning. On the radio. Saber, if Trump
loses... who on the radio was talking about that? Jeez, what kind of based radio stations are you listening to?
If Trump loses, it's because Vance didn't pay enough life to Yalmgoth Moth. What? Is he praying to elder gods? What the fuck is that?
What? What? They didn't do enough spirit cooking, folks.
Racist, anti-Semitic Pax Guard has been. Wow, thanks for joining us.
Wow.
Who was the best whack packer on the Howard Stern show?
Oh my gosh.
Beetlejuice, Hank the Angry Dwarf, or Shuli Egar?
Bro, Beetlejuice showed up in a Superman outfit on WCW and interfered in a match. I think that's got to be a winner forever.
Beetlejuice has always been on top, let's face it.
What are you doing? Oh, none. Just hanging around.
Let's see. Sierra, after so many years of Taran reading super chats, I'm glad he's finally almost starting to get the hang of it. Oh, thank you.
What's that, reading?
I'm hooked on phonics.
Hold on a second. Gonna get you caught up here. Whackpacker. There we go. You can just click on the star to remove these from the list afterward, I think.
I don't see a star.
Okay, then only I can. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if that's a thing you need to allow.
Yeah, it's probably like an admin thing. So.
Oh, well. Mercenary X, remember, this election is a trap. It's going to expose so many people, especially those who will not certify or have openly admitted to not certifying. Satellite Cannon, glad to see you. Do you think the Dems have a chance to steal the election? Also, God bless America. P.S. I can't wait to see Adam Sessler cry.
They did. They do, to answer your question, absolutely. And I've maintained that since the very beginning. But they don't have the same machinery in place from 2020 and 2022, which makes it more of an uphill climb even for that kind of fortification. So, yes, it's possible, but it is more remote a possibility than the last time around.
Tucker O'Donnell, man, tonight looks amazing. Oh, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah. Godspeed.
American musician. Hopefully, we don't see a repeat of 2020 and its mysterious 3 a.m. ballots. Yeah, we've been talking about that all night, man.
The real mute is asking, what is up with Nevada right now? I don't think they even are reporting at all. Yeah, they haven't reported anything. And that's a little alarming because Nevada, under Harry Reid back in the day, rot in peace, had a pretty well-developed fortification apparatus of its own. Their elections have been dirty for a long, long, long time. Like lawsuits at the yin-yang for years about irregularities in Nevada. So if they're not reporting, I don't know, my eyebrow tends to raise a little bit there. Especially with Trump so far ahead in some of those Nevada polls. I mean, he was not supposed to be doing that well in Nevada.
Andrew Tranquil, Razor Battletech question. How would you fix the Dark Age Jihad era without straight up removing it? Godspeed.
Man, let people, I would freaking strike the existing canon. I would keep the premise, and then I would let good writers who are inspired to write stories in that setting write new stories in that setting. Because that was the whole problem with Dark Age, was that it was top down. WizKids was like, hey, here's a new Clicks figure. Write a story about this. It wasn't like, oh, hey, I've got an idea for a story. Would that be good for this setting? And them okaying it. That's how it used to work. That's why the Dark Age and the Jihad didn't really work. So I would just invert that production process and strike all the previous canon personally.
And if
We're
you
talking
want
about BattleTech, by the way, for all you non-dorks. Who are we kidding? Everyone here is a dork.
we got a new 50 there. If you want to click on that from Fear the Dwarves.
Evening Razor, active duty military in Poland tuning in. Got my vote in weeks ago. In the event this goes tits up, what say you to turning Florida into the Trumpian Concordat to ward off the Kamala Confederation? Godspeed and nuts out for Peanut. This ain't that kind of stream, pal, but Godspeed and thank you. I like that idea. I like people who are thinking of solutions instead of black pilling.
Wolfgang, thank you for the 20. Fled California to live in the great state of Ohio. Proud to have my new home taking a stand with Trump, and proud to call Moreno my senator.
Godspeed.
June Kazama. I saw merch that says "Witches for Kamala." Right. Penultimate Media, Razor, our home state is stressing me out.
Doesn't it always, though? Doesn't it always? It's a decisive election for me. I mean, there's an abortion measure on the ballot. I don't much want to pay taxes to an abortion state. And there's also, of course, the Senate issue, which we've got 2 Democrat senators who have been cosplaying as Republicans. And we've got kind of a media bubble in Arizona that has been running cover for them for the last several election cycles. And that's something about that has got to change big time. A guy like Gallego cannot be sent to Congress. So it's an important election. I'm definitely paying attention to the down ticket races after we get off the stream here, because I have no way to check them here.
This new one's pretty good. Arbiter said, thank you for the 5. No one hates Illinois more than a resident. Screw Chicago.
Yes. All right, let's take a look at the election map.
And look how, if you go to Illinois, look how many red counties there are there. There's only a handful of blue counties in that whole state.
Yep. Yeah, state level electoral college would decimate Democratic dominion in that state.
Look at that.
Yep.
That is a sin. That is
look, and what? How many like government programs essentially bribing voters in those blue areas exist? Tons. They're bribing people to move into those areas, bribing them with government programs, which of course they'll vote for whatever party is pushing those government programs over and over and over. They're essentially in thrall. They're not even really having elections. They're just having membership rolls in the state of Illinois. It's reflexive, which is not how the founders intended our system to work at all. Now, you mentioned George Washington earlier. He warned against political parties at all.
Yeah, it's such a shame to look at.
Poly market moving even more, 96.6 now. What in the world?
Hey, they know something, man.
Well, it's a good map for Trump so far. I mean, he's really, really close.
Mercenary X, remember, Orange Man signed the Insurrection Act in 2020 of January before he left. It's still in effect. Guess what happens to those who won't certify? Jex Dino God, thank you for the 2. Michael, will there be another late night? Oh, I think we already did that one.
Jake's Dino God. Key race alert. Harry Sisson, incumbent, still a fag.
Ah.
Thank you. That's the update we needed, folks. This is the hard-hitting news you come to the RazörForce Offensive for. All right? I will never let you down.
The Gourd King, race 2024. Which is she? Indian or black?
Right? Let's hold a straw poll. What is he? Filipino? Huh?
The Helayan Juggalo. If Trump man wins, the economy improves. If that happens, I can save money. If I do that, I can 3D print a suit of Enclave power armor and use it to help enforce Project 2025. Let's see. Dustin the Grim.
55% in Arizona, and Trump's still ahead.
Dustin the Graham, if anyone needs a light, be sure to ask Rob Reiner. Psychonautical. If Trump wins, I'd love to see you call into the Dick Show to float with Dick Masterson this Sunday. God effing speed.
Godspeed.
Lorenzo. Taran, I rarely hear you speak so much. I enjoy your lush, feminine voice.
Ah, yes.
Are you a swish or a dish? I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know.
Yeah, right.
Mercenary X, thank you for the 20. Also, good news about my car. The guy had to finally pay up, and it was 2 guys, apparently. $4,850 was written in a check to me. Hey, congrats.
Well, congrats. All right. Man, so many. We're going to have to cut this early.
We have no choice. There's like 100 more.
Yep. We got Fear the Dwarves. We got at least the big ones in. We do have these still on a list. Let me see if there's one more, like big one. Anonymous with a 50 Godspeed. I wanted to write a song for Kamala's voters, but Alice Cooper already put out Hey Stupid. Australians for Trump. Also, Regurgitator wrote, I sucked a lot of cock to get where I am, about Kamala's career. Great song. Salty Army is Legion. Godspeed. To Salty, who I had the privilege of meeting recently on Side Scrollers. So, had never done that before.
Alex, thank you for the first time super chat. Razör Battletech adjacent question. What do you think of the contributions of, hold on, I lost it, of Christopher Hussey?
Christopher Bussey? What?
I'm not familiar with that Battletech character.
Yes. Let's see here. Splits Lump with the 50. Split second. My dad would watch it with me when I was young. Would love a review. Just want to contribute towards it. Love your work. That's definitely in the realm of possibility. I love that movie, dude. That was a great movie.
Got a new one from Stone.
Underrated werewolf movie. Cyber werewolves.
Got a new one from Stoned Pinochet. Thank you for that 50. How funny is it that Eagles fans could decide PA?
Right? Be careful. You know what they do when they win and lose.
Wah says, watching from Israel, many of us Jews, both here and in the States, are praying for Trump to win. May it be God's will that this is indeed the case.
Oh, Godspeed.
Yi Kaw says, love the profile pic TG, my favorite manga. Oh.
Let's see here. Let me just pick out a bigger one. Positive Paul, any thoughts on recent Canadian politics? Trudeau and those darn liberals stole over $1 million from the tax. You don't say. You don't say.
Only?
What's the old Goldwater quote? A government big enough to give you anything you could ever want is large enough to take it all away.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you saying, Hobo?
Oh, I said only $1 million?
Right? Lowballing it a little bit, huh?
Lampshade.
Let's go like 5 more, and then we got to roll if we can. Oh, there was one more 50 here. Who has the bigger one, Trump or Kamala? Remember Kamala's race. If we can decipher it first.
Lampshade.
Do you have a race decoder ring, Taran? Maybe handy on you?
No, I'm sorry. I think I lost it in the washing machine.
Left it at home? Gosh.
She's transracial. She's a chameleon, you know. She'll appear whatever they need at any moment. So
right. She's a chameleon. It explains the eyes and the eye bags.
I love how people have been pointing out that in every state she goes to, her accent changes.
Yes. Because she's worse than Hillary. Worse than Hillary in that sense. Remember that Hillary speech? I know where I've been. I know where I had come to from where I had been to. Like, what?
With the hot sauce in her purse.
Oh, my God.
What do you carry around all the time in your purse? Hot sauce on some black podcast.
Hot sauce.
Chicken and waffles, yo.
We're going to call it there. I'm just mind-blowing how much support we received tonight. Keep the faith. Do not black pill. Black body bags for black pills, folks. But it's getting mighty late in our neck of the woods. We're going to sign off. Hopefully it's not a bad luck charm, but it's looking pretty good for Trump thus far. And of course, we will probably have another offensive breaking down the aftermath of this, in like 9 months when we find out what the aftermath actually is. But for T Boogie and for my man, Tactical Hobo, I am Razor Fist. One and all, Godspeed!